Welcome to English Field at Union Park, where today we have a fantastic matchup between the Marshall Thundering Herd and the Virginia Tech Hokies. For 3304 Sports, I'm Jake Lyman alongside Andy Loce. And Andy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day to play some baseball as we got a great non-conference midweek matchup between the Marshall Thundering Herd and the Virginia Tech Hokies. It should be a really fun one, Jake.
And it definitely should be. And these two teams played earlier in the season at Marshall in West Virginia. How did that game go? I know the Hokies won, but exactly what happened in that early season matchup?
Well, in that early season matchup, Marshall came out early. They were able to get 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning, and then the Hokie bats came alive. They outscored the Marshall Thundering Herd 11-1 at that. And by the end of the game, they had some big innings, including the 4-run sixth inning and 2-run seventh inning. So it's just how the bats came alive, and I think Virginia Tech is going to have to do similar of what that is. I mean, when the Virginia Tech bats are going, they're going to be winning ball games, and that's how it happened out there in Charleston, West Virginia, on March 20th.
Well, the Hokies have struggled as of late. After beating number 8 UNC back on March 22nd, they've lost 8 of their last 10. But they're coming off a big win at Wake Forest, put up 10 runs in that game, and you have to give credit to this offense because there are a lot of big hitters on this team. Luke Horansky with 8 home runs this year, Kerry Carpenter with 8 home runs this year, and he leads the team in hits, home runs, runs, and RBIs. This Tech offense, it's one that the Marshall pitching staff and the defense is going to have to be worried about all day long.
For sure. It was definitely after last game, too. They definitely know what they can bring up to the plate. 11-3 was their last result, of course. But now you got Luke Horansky, who is leading the team in a 1.017 OPS and a .566 slugging percentage. And also it's Jack Owens, who has the batting average of a .316 right now. So it's a really good Tech offense. I just think what the problem has been this whole year is that we're looking at the Virginia Tech pitching, and can they keep their opponents to low runs? Because when their bats get going, they're a really tough team to beat.
And you mentioned the pitching for Virginia Tech tonight. The sophomore Ryan Metz getting the call, his first start of the season. Now he does have a sub-2 ERA, 1.86 to be exact, but he hasn't done much. He pitched against Wake Forest last Saturday, and he gave up 2 runs over 2 innings, so we'll see how he does today against the Thundering Herd. And the Thundering Herd offense, they're led this year by Eric Rodriguez. He has been fantastic. He's hitting leadoff today for the Thundering Herd, and he has 18 stolen bases. He's going to be tough to get out, and you don't want to let him get first base.
Oh, for sure. Leading off this year, he's got an excellent batting average of .394. He also has the best batting average on the Marshall Thundering Herd of a .336, so he's definitely a bat to look out for today when this game gets started. And you also talk about his quickness, about the steals, and he also leads the team with 5 triples. Just interesting stats to see. He's one of the perfect leadoff guy to get the Thundering Herd going. Also, Tucker Linder comes into this game with a 16-game hitting streak for the Fighting Herd, and he's also leading the Fighting Herd with RBIs up to 27. He's also tied with Zach Inskeep with 5 home runs on the year. So he is one of those heavy hitter bats, and also a good hitter to look out for in this game. A sleeper will be Jordan Blanton, who has a team-high 12 doubles for the Fighting Herd. Of course, they're coming off a couple results that they just got swept by Southern Mississippi, their Conference USA opponent. So, this is a good midweek game to really try to find their bats again coming into this game.
And one thing to mention, Shane Hannon not playing today. He is injured. He leads the Thundering Herd with a .375 batting average. He also leads them in slugging and on-base percentage. He hit a home run against Virginia Tech earlier in the year. We'll be back after this break here on 3304 Sports with the starting lineups and some of our picks of who we think is going to have a big game today. Later on, we're going to have David Cunningham join the call, as well as Dylan Campbell, and they're going to take the second half of the game. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to English Field here on 3304 Sports, and we're about ready for first pitch here in Blacksburg. But first, let's get these starting lineups out of the way. Andy, you've got Marshall's lineup for today.
Yeah, the visiting team comes with the quite similar lineup of which they had when they last time played Virginia Tech. Starting off, we have Eric Rodriguez, who's the center fielder, followed by Elvis Peralta, the shortstop. Then Zach Inskeep is DH. Hitting cleanup is Tucker Linder, the left fielder. And then hitting fifth is Ray Pastrana, the first baseman. And then followed by Luke Edwards, the right fielder. And then Kyle Schaefer is hitting from the catcher position. And then Daniel Cruz, the third baseman. And then rounding it up, it's Jordan Blanton, the second baseman.
I really like Elvis Peralta Jr. today, batting second. He's hitting .333 on the year, got 3 home runs, and just a year ago, he was at Crowder College where he was a first-team All-American, hitting .381, had 11 homers and 30 stolen bases. He's really a guy who can play all around and do a lot of things for this Marshall team. But let's move on to Virginia Tech today. We have Jack Owens playing second base. Nick Biddison will be playing catcher. He had a home run on Sunday against Wake Forest. Carson Taylor will be playing first base. Kerry Carpenter down the line at right field. Kevin Madden at the hot corner will be batting fifth. Dalton Harum in center batting sixth. Tanner Thomas in left batting seventh. Nick Owens at the shortstop position. He's in eighth. And then the DH today, Chris Gerard, usually a pitcher for Virginia Tech, but he'll be hitting today.
Very interesting. One player I am looking out for the Virginia Tech Hokies is Nick Biddison. He is on the rise. He's just a freshman, of course, being the 2018 All-Metro Player of the year for the Richmond Times-Dispatch out of St. Christopher's last year. He's been making some big plays on the offensive and defensive side. Of course, he had that SportsCenter Top 10 nominee a couple weeks ago against Clemson. So it'd be really cool to see him come out here and perform. And he also had a good game last time. He went 2 of 4 for 3 RBIs. So it's really interesting to see how he comes down and performs again today against Marshall.
Biddison is definitely somebody to watch. He can play all around, kind of a Swiss Army knife for John Sheff's Hokies. He played center, as we saw with his SportsCenter Top 10 home run rob against Clemson. He played third base the next day against Clemson, and his usual position is obviously catcher. We're going to take a break here for the national anthem. When we come back, first pitch here in Blacksburg. We'll be back on 3304 Sports. I'm Jake Lyman alongside Andy Loce. Welcome back to English Field. We're about ready for first pitch here in Blacksburg as Ryan Metz is throwing on the mound. And Eric Rodriguez is about ready to get into the box. And Metz, he's the sophomore out of Fishers, Indiana. 1.86 ERA this year. He set his high school record for wins with 15. And he had a 1.68 ERA in his career. So obviously a very good high school player, and he's looking to translate that here to Virginia Tech.
That's for sure. Ryan Metz is game warmed up. Of course, he had that performance against Wake Forest last Saturday. And you know what's just really good for him to come in here and get these reps and come out against these midweek non-conference games and have the opportunity to really show Coach what's up.
Nick Biddison just throwing down to second base. And Eric Rodriguez steps toward the box. We're about ready for first pitch. 70 degrees is our temperature, wind blowing out to center field at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. As Metz steps onto the rubber. And we're ready to go here in Blacksburg. Our umpire crew tonight behind the plate, Reed Churchill, Kevin Sweeney at first base, Thomas Newsom at second, and John Haggerty at third. Metz is into the windup. First pitch outside, ball, and a 1-0 count on Rodriguez. And he's not somebody you want to let get on base. 19 of 20 stealing the bases this year. Metz' second pitch fouled off down the left field line and out of play. 1-1 count now. Excuse me, Rodriguez 18 of 20 on the bases, but definitely somebody you don't want to let him get first. He can't steal first, but he can steal everything else. He's going to hit this one on the ground to first base. Metz is going to cover. It's close there at first. He's out. Rodriguez busting it down the line. A great play there. Taylor flipping it to Metz for the first out.
Great defensive play to really get started for the Virginia Tech Hokies here. Eric Rodriguez, of course, one of the better hitters for Marshall with a .336 batting average. It's really good to get a defensive play.
Stepping in now, Elvis Peralta, the redshirt junior. He's going to swing and foul this one back. Mets gets ahead of Peralta here. Peralta batting .333 on the year, has 3 home runs, and he's only been caught stealing once, so really a guy, he can do it all, has power and speed. Mets winds up and fires, hit out to left field, and coming in there is Thomas to make the catch, and 2 quick outs here for the Hokies. Now stepping in, Zach Inskeep, the designated hitter. The righty batting .325 on the year. Has 5 home runs, which is tied for the lead on the team for the Thundering Herd. He was named first team All-American at Yakima County Community College last year, coming here to the Thundering Herd to make an impact in his junior season. Mets fires. This one's hit on the ground to second, but they had a shift on. Nobody's there as Owens can't get there, and that is a single for Inskeep. And Andy, that's a time where having the shift on ends up playing against you. You had the shift on thinking Inskeep was going to pull it. He slaps it the other way into right center, and that's a 2-out hit for the Thundering Herd.
Jack Owens was playing a little bit left of what he usually is, more behind second base, and that definitely cost him. Inskeep put it into place that he never really has before, but here comes Tucker Linder up to bat.
You mentioned Tucker Linder, a 16-game hitting streak for the Thundering Herd. Mets working from the stretch now. He'll fire just outside with the fastball to start this at-bat. 2 outs, runner on first, a 0-0 game here in Blacksburg between the Thundering Herd and the Virginia Tech Hokies. Mets coming set. He'll fire the 0-1, and it's fouled back, 1-0. So a 1-1 count here after the foul ball. Tucker Linder, tied with Zach Inskeep in home runs on the year, has 5 as well. Started his college career at Kent State. The 1-1 fired in, swing and a miss. He tipped at there, back to the backstop. So now a 1-2 count. Mets trying to make quick work here of the Thundering Herd in the first inning. A shift on once again for the Hokies. Owens playing just a little bit shy, Jack Owens that is, a little bit shy of second base at second base, and then the shortstop Nick Owens playing further towards third. Slapped on the ground to the right side again, right in that hole, and Jack Owens can't pick it up off the ground, and another base hit for the Thundering Herd.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Tucker Linder has an incredible batting average of 2 outs. It's .364, so he definitely knows how to get on base and definitely advanced Inskeep right there, and now two runners on base.
And you might think that Virginia Tech head coach John Sheff might think about possibly stopping the shift, as twice in a row now Thundering Herd batters have hit right to the other side of it and gotten base hits. Ray Pastrana in the box now. As the first pitch comes in, swing and a miss for Pastrana, the senior from Miami, Florida. Pastrana, one of the better players on this Thundering Herd roster, named a finalist for the Johnny Bench Award last year and was the All-Conference USA first-team catcher a year ago. He's got a chance here to get the Thundering Herd on the board early. 2 on, 2 out. The 0-1 on the outside corner, and Mets getting ahead once again. Two on, 2 out. 0-2 count here. Long pause here, a stare down between Metz and Biddison, shaking him off. And a time called by Pastrana in the box. Took too long for Metz to get ready there. Now he's ready to go. Comes set, fires. Popped up down the right field line. This one might get out of here. But no, a great reaching play there by Carson Taylor to end the inning. The first baseman ranging over towards the nets there along the first base side and grabs the ball out of the air, ending the inning and ending the threat for the Marshall Thundering Herd. They get no runs on 2 hits, no errors, leaving 2 on base. For 3304 Sports, we'll be back after this. We're back here at English Field. The Thundering Herd got 2 on there with 2 outs, 2 base hits with 2 outs, but a pop out in foul territory, ending the threat for the Hokies. And what happened there on that foul ball? Carson Tucker able to make a nice play over there.
Oh, Carson Taylor made a great athletic play going down to the near to the fence over there, but it was very interesting. He did something random that most baseball players don't usually do, and took off his hat, either indicating that he wants that ball or he couldn't see it. Made a backhanded grab. Great way to end in.
And Jack Owens stepping in here to start off the bottom of the first for the Hokies. On the mound for the Thundering Herd, the freshman Ryan Capuano. The Toronto native has a 6.89 ERA on the year. And strike one right down the middle, a fastball there. And Jack Owens watches it go by. Owens, 2 years ago, named All ACC third team at second base. He's going to shoot this one the other way, and that's a base hit into right field. Owens starting off hot for the Hokies, and they've got 1 on with no outs.
Great opposite field hit right there by Jack Owens. He's been great leading off for the Hokies this season, having a batting average of .654. And
now coming into the box, Nick Biddison, the catcher. And we already talked about him making great plays defensively and offensively for the Hokies. He has been a key freshman for this team. Now he's got a chance to keep the hot start going for the Hokies. And he'll watch the first pitch go by. A strike on the inside corner.
Remember, it was Biddison not too long ago who went 2 of 5 for 3 RBIs against the Marshall Thundering Herd. And let's see if he can make the same impact today for the Virginia Tech Hokies.
He had a home run on Sunday in the Hokies win over Wake Forest. Capuano's going to pick off. Throws this one in the dirt. It's away down the right field line. Owens has second. He's thinking about third. He's going to try it. The throw here. Safe at third base. Jack Owens taking advantage of the mistake there by Ryan Capuano on the mound.
Great base running there by Jack Owens. Capuano's throw was a little short of the first base. It just got under the first baseman right there. And that resulted in Jack Owens getting a running scoring position with Biddison at bat. This could be looking like a great start here for the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Definitely, and with a runner on third, no outs. Biddison with a crucial chance here to give the Hokies an early lead. 0-1 pitch. That one's going to be high. Ball 1 there to Biddison. Biddison, 19 RBIs on the year, has a chance to get that to 20. Owens takes his lead from third. Pitch is going to be down and in against Biddison. Now into a 2-1 count, getting ahead. Biddison leading the team in walks with 33. The next best on the team is 22, so Biddison, no stranger to the base on balls. He's going to pop this one up on the infield, just into foul territory, and that's going to be caught by Gordon Blanton in shallow right field, and he threw his hat off as well.
I guess it's something with the shallow right field. I mean, that's the second time we've seen a catch there today, where the fielder has thrown off the hat. I guess it's really tough to see out there, of course, at these sunset hours coming up soon.
The shadows indicating that that sun is right behind first base, so definitely a little bit of trouble seeing the ball there, but 2 great plays, one for the Hokies, one for the Thundering Herd. Now 1 out and a runner on third. Carson Taylor will step into the box. He made a great play defensively. Let's see what he can do with the bat in his hands. He's going to hit this one to straightaway center, going back. Rodriguez is going to catch it, but that will be deep enough to score Owens, and the Hokies take a 1-0 lead. He really squared that one up. Carson Taylor hitting that one almost to the warning track there. More than enough to get Owens in from third.
Yeah, and another RBI there for Carson Taylor. You know, he's been making plays on the defensive end and now able to get the run in. Let's see what Kerry Carpenter can do right now with 2 outs.
Kerry Carpenter, we've talked about him a lot. He has been the key to this team offensively, leading the team in hits, home runs, runs, and RBIs. Pretty much every category you can think of, Kerry Carpenter is leading it. First pitch to Carpenter is high and away, ball 1. Carpenter, in his first year here at Virginia Tech, a junior, however, spent 2 years at St. John's River State College. He was an all-conference, all-state, and all-American player his sophomore year as he watches ball 2 away. And he's not the only Hokies player to come from St. John's River State College. Nick Owens also played 2 years there, as well as pitcher Jason Hurd. And Carpenter's going to smash this one into right field. Another base hit for the Hokies. And with 2 outs, maybe a little bit of a rally coming here for the Hokies.
Yeah, Capano has not been able to get these batters without him making contact. Every single time the batter's been able to make contact with him with his pitches.
Carpenter with a hard hit single, and that will bring Kevin Madden into the box.
Interesting fact about Kevin Madden is he has a .324 against 2 outs. Let's see if he can actually advance Carpenter on this play.
Carpenter short lead off first. They're going to pick anyway. He'll be back with plenty of time. Capuano just wanted to check in.
Played that a lot better than the last time.
It did go well, yes. He didn't get to third, so a win there for the Thundering Herd. And he'll pick again. Nothing there for the second time in a row. Capuano does not want Carpenter to get into scoring position here with 2 outs. Kevin Madden, a .299 hitter, so he could do some damage here for the Hokies. First pitch high and in. Madden had to duck away. Ball 1. And Kevin Madden is first cousins with former Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco, now Broncos quarterback. So a little bit of a connection there for Kevin Madden in the sports world. He's going to foul this one back to the backstop. Now a 1-1 count against the Hokies' third baseman. And a stoppage here. The ump got hit on the play. They're coming out, talking with Capuano, the whole crew coming together. Looks like the Hokies trainer coming out to check on him. Home plate ump tonight, Reed Churchill. Seems like might just be a stinger. Still getting some medical treatment from the Hokies staff. So we've got a stoppage here. Andy, what have you liked from the Hokies so far through this first inning?
What I've liked so far about the Hokies is that they've been able to make contact and they've been able to work the count. A lot of foul tips, a lot of getting the ball in play. They're not letting Capuano beat them by his pitches, that's for sure. They're gonna let him. They're gonna make sure that they can make these contact on the ball, make contact on the balls, and able to get into Capuano's head and make sure that keep them restless.
And we have seen 3 really hard-hit balls here for the Hokies. 2 singles, and then the Carson Taylor sac fly was hit deep to center. And seems like Capuano is struggling to keep these Hokies from hitting it hard into play. Madden steps back into the box, and we're ready to resume play. 1-1 count in a 1-0 Hokies lead. Pick here. Carpenter gets back once again. 2 outs. Carpenter the only runner on at first. The Hokies getting their run here in the first inning on a Carson Taylor sac fly, scoring Jack Owens. And Madden will swing through the change of speed pitch there, and now 2 strikes on number 26. Carpenter takes his lead from first. 1-2 count. Here's the pitch, hit hard to shortstop. Peralta up with it. He'll flip it to second, and that is out number 3. The Thundering Herd allow one, but get away with just that. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and the Hokies take an early lead after 1 inning. I'm Jake Lyman alongside Andy Loce, 3304 Sports. We'll be back. After 1 inning, the Hokies leading 1-0 here at English Field in Blacksburg, and the Thundering Herd looking to get that run back as Ryan Metz comes out for his 2nd inning.
Great start by Ryan Metz. Let's see if he can continue this into the top of the 2nd inning.
No shift here from the Hokies. We saw the Thundering Herd get 2 hits while the Hokies shifted, and they are playing straight up now as the first pitch is going to be outside for ball number 1. Stepping into the box now is Luke Edwards, and he'll take ball 2 inside, so now a 2-0 count, getting ahead of Ryan Metz. Edwards, a freshman from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and he'll take ball 3 here. So a 3-0 count. Metz got through the first inning pretty quickly on 13 pitches, now struggling. And that's going to be ball 4 inside. So a 4-pitch walk to start the inning as Edwards will take first.
Let me tell you something. He had 13 pitches that last inning, and 11 of them were strikes. In this inning, he started off with 4 straight balls. Not a great start for Metz. Let's see if he can recover and maybe force 2 outs right here with Kyle Schaefer coming up the bat.
Definitely going to need to do that. Metz seemed to be very pinpoint with his accuracy in the first inning, and you're right. Struggling here, 4 straight balls to start the 2nd. And there it is, strike 1 to Kyle Schaefer. The catcher stepping into the box, lefty. He's hitting .222 on the season.
Yeah, this is only his 10th at bat this season right now, so it's really interesting how Schaefer's going to be able to put the bat on the ball.
Metz will fire the 0-1, swing and a miss. Looked like a breaking ball there inside, and he got Schaefer to chase on it. So now 0-2. Runner on first, no outs. Virginia Tech leading 1-0 here in the top of the 2nd. Metz comes set. The 0-2 is away. Looked like maybe a pitch out there. Trying to see if Edwards would run. He does not. Now the count is 1-2. Metz fires. This one will be fouled back over the crowd and into the bushes over on the third base side. 1-2 count here. Metz trying to get out of some early trouble here in the 2nd. 4-pitch walk to start the inning. 1-2 fouled away down the left field line once again, and that will get out of play. Schaefer putting up a fight here.
He is, for sure. Interesting to see how he can work this count in his favor.
Against right-handed pitchers. Batting .222 this year, the same as his average. And he'll call time here. Metz taking a little too long to get ready for this 1-2 pitch. And a pick here. Plenty of time for Edwards to get back to the bag. Now Metz getting set for the 1-2 once again. See if Schaefer will continue to fight in there. And ball's in the dirt, stealing. Good throw from Biddison in the out.
Wow, great play right there from Biddison to Owens. It was a little bit short of the bag and was a little bit far off as well, but Owens made that recovery to get the ball and make the tag. Very interesting how he made that tag too. Let him slide underneath, but he was able to hit him.
And Biddison picking the ball in the dirt and making a throw that was in a good position to get the out. And Metz will follow that up with a strikeout there, getting Schaefer to swing and miss. And now, just like that, we've got 2 outs. It looked like the Thundering Herd may get something going here in the second, but a caught stealing and a strikeout end that threat pretty quickly.
Good to point out that is the first strikeout for the game for Ryan Metz. Now he has Daniel Cruz.
Cruz will watch ball 1 down below the knees.
Interesting, this is only Cruz's 7th at bat as well, so this is part of the lineup is not as experienced as other parts of Marshall's lineup, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to make an impact in the overall game.
He'll watch strike 1 right down the middle there from Metz. And yeah, the Thundering Herd putting in a couple of the players that haven't seen as much game time in this non-conference bout. As Cruz will watch ball 2 up above the shoulders. Against right-handed pitchers this year, Daniel Cruz 167. So it hasn't been great, but he'll watch ball 3 down and in, and now he's got a 3-1 count. He can be looking for something here and maybe get a nice hit here with 2 outs. Both of the Thundering Herd's hits last inning came with 2 outs. We'll see if they can repeat that success. But Cruz will watch ball 4 inside, and that is the second walk of the inning for Metz. Definitely seems like he's lost his control here.
That's the time that Cruz has reached base this season. His first walk last time came from a hit. And now we're here at the bottom of the lineup.
That'll be Jordan Blanton stepping in. And he has played a lot for the Thundering Herd, batting .296. And he stole 16 bases a season ago as a freshman. He'll watch it down in the dirt. Check swing. They appeal down the first base line, and he did not go. So Blanton gets into the 1-0 count.
Yeah, Blanton is also a great 2-out hitter as well. He is .357 this year. So he's able to get a couple contact here. They get their best hitter, Eric Rodriguez, after this.
He'll pop this one up down the right field line towards the Thundering Herd dugout, and that will land on top of the Marshall dugout and get out of play. So strike 1 against Jordan Blanton. And Blanton, he seems like the perfect guy you would want to be that second leadoff hitter at the bottom of the lineup. Gets on base, .357 with 2 outs, and he can steal bases when he needs to. 1-1 count. Strike 2 right down the middle there. Fastball from Metz. And now he's 1 strike away from getting out of the inning and getting 2 quick scoreless frames against Marshall. 1-0 game here in Blacksburg. The Hokies taking the lead on a sac fly last inning. This one's going to be hit out to right field. Carpenter under it, and that is out number 3. The Hokies holding the Thundering Herd scoreless through 2 innings, leading 1-0. Marshall, no hits in that inning, but 2 walks. And a caught stealing from Nick Biddison is going to be the difference there in keeping the Thundering Herd out of the scoring column. So, Andy, what have you liked here from the Marshall Thundering Herd? They're not on the scoreboard yet, but a lot of things to like with the way they've been playing offensively.
I mean, a couple things have gone against their way here so far. They were able to get runners on in the first inning, like Inskeep and Linder. But, of course, that catch there by Carson Taylor to end the inning. And they were able to also get a runner into on base again. Of course, the steal and then the strikeout was probably the worst part of the inning for the Marshall Thundering Herd. But their ability to get on base so far is helping them get into a good position to make this a ball game and put it in probably in their favor.
I agree. It seems like they're doing just enough to get close to scoring, but just not finishing those scoring opportunities. You get a walk to start the inning, but he gets caught stealing, and then immediately after a strikeout, you go from a pretty good chance to score with 1 on, none out to none on, 2 out, and you just put yourself in a bad situation. So Marshall is going to have to step up here in the next couple of innings and try to get on the board offensively, because the Hokies look good in their first at-bats with 2 singles and then the deep sac fly from Carson Taylor.
Yeah, and it's really hard to throw on Biddison. Biddison is one of those promising freshmen here at Virginia Tech, and we've talked about how he has been defensively this year. making the plates on both sides of the diamond, at the outfield and in the infield. So that was also another highlight reel performance right there by Nick Bittis in his first year at Virginia Tech.
It was the pick and the throw to get Luke Edwards at second base. We're ready to start the bottom of the second as Dalton Harum stepping in. Harum has come on here as of late for the Hokies, been a really key player over the last couple of weeks, and he'll foul the first pitch down towards the Hokies dugout. A nice catch there by one of the Hokies players to grab that foul ball. And Harum has 3 home runs this year, all of which have come in one game. Excuse me, he has 4. He had 1 against Wake Forest, but he did have 3 of those in one game against VMI. Harum will watch the second pitch. That's going to be off the outside corner for ball 1. Harum went into that VMI game with only 4 career hits, ended up having 3 home runs in that game, and has become a regular starter. He watches the 1-1 in the dirt, and now he's ahead of Ryan Capuano.
You know, Harum, that's his 4th home run last week, and it's all he's had this season. But it's a good time to get hot. Around April and heading into the thick of ACC play as well.
Watches the 2-1, but that one is a strike right around the letters. Now 2 strikes on Harum. Harum, a junior out of Wenatchee, Washington. He spent 2 seasons at Wenatchee Valley College, transferring here for his junior season. 2-2. Just a little bit high to Dalton Harum, and now a full count.
Harum has struggled a little bit against right-handed pitchers this year with a 152 batting average. So it'll be really good if he can make contact here or take some balls.
3-2 count. Here's the pitch. He's going to hit this one right back up the middle, and right next to that Virginia Tech logo in center, it will drop in for a single. And the third hit in 2 innings here for the Hokies, really making solid contact off Capuano, and it's led to a run last inning. We'll see if it does here.
Harum continues that hot streak, and here comes Tanner Thomas. He had a great performance last time against Marshall. He went 3 of 5 for that game for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Let's see if he can bring that same energy today to Blacksburg.
And another transfer from a junior college, Tanner Thomas played at Tallahassee Community College. He batted .400 as a senior in high school and had 5 home runs. So let's see what he can do here for the Hokies as he watches strike 1 on the outside corner. We got 1 on, none out. Virginia Tech leading 1-0 on the Carson Taylor sacrifice fly. 3 hits for the Hokies, 2 for Marshall. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for Tanner Thomas, and now in a hole, 0-2. Batting .250 against right-handers this year. Runner on first. 0-2 count here to Tanner Thomas. Here's the pitch. Watches it close on that outside corner, but it's going to be a ball just off the edge there, staying alive at 1-2.
Good way to stay alive right there. That was a risky pitch to stay looking at, but it paid off right there. It's a little bit low and away right there.
Here's the 1-2. Fouled off back down the third base side and way out of play. And Thomas will stay alive here against Ryan Capuano. Capuano, one inning pitch so far, allowed 3 hits and 1 run. Although technically I believe it's not earned, even though his error was the one that caused Jack Owens to score. So he'll pick off here. That time goes better than the time he tried to pick off Jack Owens once again as Harum dives back safely. But no advancement on the play there for the Hokies. Capuano comes set for the 1-2 once again. Pitch out there. Nothing going for Dalton Harum at first base, so Now 2-2 to Tanner Thomas, and he's worked his way back into this at-bat.
Yeah, he was started at 0-2, taking a couple balls, making some contact with them, keeping the count alive. Good play in there by Tanner Thomas.
Here's the 2-2. Harum running, but this one's fouled back over the Hokies dugout and out of play. Harum got a good jump there. Possibly would have gotten there, but he'll have to retreat back to first base as Thomas will see another 2-2 pitch. Good at bat here for Tanner Thomas. Started 0-2, but has found his way back and has continued to fight. We'll see if Harum is running again here. Capuano comes set. Fires with the slide step. Strike 3. Tanner Thomas swings right through the high fastball, and a big out number 1 there for Ryan Capuano. Capuano, the Toronto native. He went to high school with he didn't go to high school with them, but he went to Birchmount Park, the alma mater of multiple NHL stars, including Wayne Simmons of the Nashville Predators and former Capitals player Devontae Smith-Pelly, part of that Stanley Cup team last year. Nick Owens will step into the box, the shortstop. That pitch is down in the way to start the at-bat to Nick Owens, batting .248 on the year.
Harum was thinking about running on that play, but great recovery there by the catcher. Way to put it into the dirt and make sure the ball did not pass him to advance the runner.
He's running on this one, but this one's hit to the shortstop. And Peralta can't get it out of his glove, and it's going to be an infield single here for Nick Owens. Possible the hit and run was on there as Harum was moving, got Peralta to move towards the middle of the infield, and Owens hits it right back into the gap he left.
Yeah, great base running there by Harum. You heard everyone scream out there that, that he was going for that run, but it actually paid off. It was hit to the far side, the backhand side of Peralta.
And a correction here, we said that Girard was going to be DHing, which didn't make a lot of sense since he is a pitcher. But it is actually Nick Holisa, number 33, not number 3, who is going to be DHing. He is a freshman out of Huntington, Pennsylvania. He was 2 out of 3 against Wake Forest on Saturday and had his first career home run with the Hokies. So coming in here, maybe a little hot. He has 2 on, 1 out. And he'll watch strike 1 right down the middle. Virginia Tech leading 1-0. 4 hits already, and we're not even through 2 innings, so a good start offensively for Virginia Tech. Long stare down here from Capuano into Schaefer behind the plate. Finally comes set. Harum dancing over there at second base. Capuano comes with a curveball and brings it right back into the middle of the strike zone for strike 2. A good pitch from Capuano.
It wasn't your high heater either, about 70 miles per hour right over the plate. Also was just staring at that one.
Good curveball right into the strike zone. Holisa had no idea what was coming. 2 on, 1 out. 0-2 count here to the 9-hitter, Nick Holisa, the designated hitter on the day. He'll swing and miss right through it, and Capuano with his second strikeout of the inning and trying to get out of this jam all by himself.
A lot of heat on that one, 85 miles per hour. But now Virginia Tech comes up back with the top of their batting order.
Jack Owens had a single to right field in his first at-bat. Ended up scoring after the errant pickoff throw from Capuano at first got him all the way to third, and then the sac fly from Carson Taylor brought him home. He steps in here for the second time with a chance to do some more damage on the scoreboard. 2 on, 2 out. Dalton Harum dancing off of second base, and a ball in the dirt here. A good block by Schaefer behind the plate.
Second time Schaefer's made a really good block this inning to really stop from the Hokie runners from advancing.
Seems like Capuano's breaking ball has a lot of movement on it, and when that thing gets spiked, Schaefer's going to have to make a big play every time. especially with the runners on base like we have now. Here comes the 1-0. No. Capuano stepping off, needing more time, and he'll call out to Schaefer. Need to talk before this 1-0 pitch. And Virginia Tech already with 4 hits in these first 2 innings. Looking to continue that success with 2 outs here and extend this early lead over Marshall.
Yeah, the Hokies right now are 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position, but now with Dalton Harum on second base, the Hokies are going to really need to have to get some runners in from these scoring positions.
Capuano ready here. Runners on first and second. 1-0 count here to Jack Owens, the second baseman, batting leadoff today. Here comes the pitch. Lays down a bunt down the third base line. Bare hand there from Cruz. Throws it not in time.
Let me tell you something about Jake. Bunting with 2 outs might be the craziest thing I've seen in today's game. That is something that is not seen that much. With a speed like Jack Owens, that's a confident move right there.
Bunting with 2 outs or 2 strikes is something we rarely see in baseball, but a good idea there with the third baseman Cruz playing back and able to get that down and beat it out. Now bases loaded here for the heart of this order. Nick Biddison stepping in.
Yeah. Nick Biddison has a bat. Let's see if he makes one of these impact plays like we talked about earlier today.
0 for 1 on the day. Last time he stepped in, he popped out into shallow right field. Jordan Blanton tracking that one down. And he'll hit this one high and deep to left. That one is way back, and it is gone. A grand slam for Nick Biddison. The catcher popped out last time with a runner on third. This time he says, I'm getting them all in. A grand slam, and the Hokies lead 5-0.
That's one of the coolest moments in sports right there, Jake. Seeing a grand slam followed by a really crazy play, crazy scene of events. You get the bunt, and then Biddison sends it over the wall. That's an easy way to get four RBIs right there. And that definitely got the crowd on its feet and definitely extended this game into a more comfort level for the pitching staff like Mets as well.
And that bunt, like you mentioned, becomes even more crucial now because had he gotten out, Biddison would have never come to the plate. A 4-run strategy there for Chef. And now the Hokies lead 5-0 as Carson Taylor steps in and watches ball 1 below the knees. The 1-0 outside, and now Capuano may be a little frustrated after allowing the grand slam. Taylor in a 2-0 count. Capuano from the windup fires it in, and a big base hit there from Carson Taylor right up the middle. Jordan Blanton diving but unable to get it, and the Hokies extend the inning once again. I think we've got to address that grand slam again. What a hit there from Nick Biddison, pulling it out to left field and over the Union Bank and Trust sign out on the outfield wall. It looked like Linder may try and jump for it and try and rob it, but that ball was way out of his reach.
That's correct. I noticed that Marshall has not started someone in the bullpen yet. It is still early, but with 5 earned runs now, 5 runs, it seems like you might have to actually start addressing your bullpen and seeing if you can come back into this game.
Capuano seems to be losing it a little bit here as he throws ball 1 down and in to Kerry Carpenter. And this is not the guy you want to be facing when you're having a frustrating inning, giving up the grand slam, as he'll foul that one down the right field line.
You're right about that, Jake. Earlier in the broadcast, you did mention about Kerry Carpenter's offensive juggernaut for the Virginia Tech Hokies, and this is the last guy you want to meet. Of course, he had a hit last time for the Hokies.
1 for 1 with a single. He ripped one out to right last time up. And he'll watch the 1-1. That one's going to be high, a ball. And Carpenter now into a 2-1 count. The Hokies with a 2-out rally here. had 2 outs, able to get the bunt down, then hit the grand slam, and then a single. That brings Carpenter up, now in a 2-1 count. He'll watch that one in the dirt.
Another great block there by the Sheffer.
Schaefer continues to make great plays behind the plate. Carpenter now in a hitter's count, 3-1. Carson Taylor on first base with 2 outs. 5-0 lead here for the Hokies in the bottom of the second, really taking it to the Thundering Herd early in this game. Here's the 3-1. That's going to be outside, and another walk there. So now the Hokies back into a little bit of a groove here. First and second with 2 outs. And now Marshall going to go and talk to Capuano, their pitching coach, coming out. They've got somebody working in the bullpen, but not sure they're going to take him out yet. Maybe just buying time for the reliever.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a conversation and cool him down. I mean, we're looking at 1.2 innings now with 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned. It's definitely starting to get a mental effect right away at the Capano. This is going to be a tough out for him. So he's got to be able to talk to his manager or to assistant coach and make sure that he can finish off this inning and not make the damage much more worse for the rest of the game.
Home plate umpire Reed Churchill breaking up the mound visit there. Now you got first and second, 2 outs. Capuano will stay in as they wait for that reliever in the bullpen to get ready. And Kevin Madden stepping in last time up. He could not reach base, 0 for 1 on the day. And if he's able to reach here, they will have bat around. Madden grounded into a fielder's choice last time. First and second, 2 outs. Capuano trying to get out of the jam. Fires the first pitch right down Broadway. Strike 1 there on Kevin Madden. Biddison had the grand slam earlier in the inning, and then that was followed by a Carson Taylor single and a Kerry Carpenter walk. Madden is going to hit this into center. Rodriguez drifting back, and he will bring it in to end the inning. The Hokies strike for 4 on the grand slam from Nick Biddison, and they lead by 5 here. We'll be back. Andy Loce taking over play-by-play duties. The Hokies leading 5-0 here in Blacksburg for 3304 Sports. We'll be back.
Welcome back here to 3304 Sports. My name is Andy Loce, and I'll be doing play-by-play for the next 2 innings here at English Field, and I'll be joined alongside Jake Lyman, who will be doing my color commentary. So we just saw a great offensive, explosive inning right there, thanks to Nick Biddison's grand slam in the bottom of the second to help extend the Hokies' lead to a 5-0.
Biddison making plays on both sides of the plate. I mean, he had the great pick and throw in the top of the second that possibly saved a run because they would have had a runner on second, no outs, runner in scoring position. That would have been huge for Marshall, able to make that play, and then comes back up in the bottom of the inning and hits the grand slam. So Nick Biddison, the freshman, making a huge impact for the Hokies here today.
Yes, and it seems like we have a pitching change now here for the Virginia Tech Hokies, as Jack Dellinger will come in for Ryan Metz. Now, Ryan Metz had a pretty good performance at 2 hits, but Jack Dellinger, who is, of course, a junior here, coming from Chipola College in what I believe is Washington. First pitch is hit by Rodriguez, and the 6-3 play is made right there. The connection between Nick Owens and Carson Taylor for the first out. Rodriguez, of course, one of the better hitters for the Marshall Thundering Herd. He had 2 straight at-bats and 0 hits. Coming up now is Elvis Peralta. And last time at bat, Elvis Peralta flied out to left field. First pitch by Dellinger is a strike, and the crowd loves to hear it.
Dellinger started his career at Purdue, then spent his sophomore year at Chipola College before coming to Virginia Tech.
That pitch was a little bit low and inside right there, 84 miles per hour.
And last year at Chipola College, he started in the junior college national championship game.
There's a strike right there to work the count to 1-2, so he definitely brings that experience here to the ACC.
Winning the
Virginia
junior college national championship with Chipola, so definitely, like you said, bringing some winning experience.
That pitch is a little low and it hits the dirt, but a great block there by Nick Biddison. Dellinger is definitely bringing that heat. As that one is dangerously close. It's 92, but he made a bounce before it hit that glove right there. Very close to Peralta's feet. And now we have a full count here.
Dellinger, gunslinger, throwing hard, but doesn't seem to have much idea about where it's going.
As that one is low, and way to work the count right there by Peralta, as he'll get on base. Zach Inskeep is coming up to bat. Now Zach Inskeep, of course, is tied for the clubhouse leader in home runs with Marshall. Tucker Lindor shares that position with him. But let's see if Inskeep can make a play right here to get Marshall back into this game. First pitch by Dellinger is right down the middle, 91 mile per hour strike. Has some heat behind that ball, and that can really make a difference.
And it's interesting to see, no shift here. Inskeep hit out of the shift last time, getting a single. Maybe because of Dellinger's velocity, they think he can hit it the other way.
Dellinger working the count to his favor now, 0-2 here on Inskeep. That one's a little high. That was a great eye there by Inskeep.
And Peralta's not the guy you want to walk if you're Virginia Tech. Not only does he have speed, but behind him you have Inskeep and Tucker Linder, who both singled last time out and two of the better hitters on this roster.
Foul ball right there, but it's also good to point out that Tucker Linder does extend that hit streak up to 17 games. So, impressive feat by Tucker Linder here. Dellinger winding up. Delivery, and it's made right down the third base line. Way to stop the ball. Got the throw. Oh, and he's safe. A great defensive play there by Kevin Madden to stop the ball from going past him. Seems to be limping on the way up, but his throw was a little bit off the bag, and Carson Taylor tried to readjust, but Inskeep was just a little too quick, and it got out of the reach.
Kevin Madden with a great play at the hot corner there, able to dive and stop it, but it's a tough throw to make all the way across the diamond. Taylor almost got the tag on Inskeep, but just out of his reach. Would have been a big play for the Hokies.
And now it turns into a great possibility here for the Marshall Thundering Herd. They got Tucker Linder up the bat. He's going to watch that first pitch, and it's going to be a ball.
A bit of a change of pace there from Dellinger, trying to maybe get Linder out in front.
Dellinger started off the inning great, but now he's got to think about the runners on base. And with the speed of Peralta, a hit to the outfield could bring a run in for Marshall. He watches that one. And it'd be a 2-0 count. Peralta was about 30 feet off the bag. thinking about going for that, but great play by Biddison not to let that ball pass him.
Biddison continuing to make plays behind the plate, showing that he is not only a great offensive player, but a great defensive catcher as well.
Makes contact with that one, but it's going to go foul down the right field side. Another 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Dellinger is definitely bringing that heat. Something we don't really see often at the collegiate level is these pitches going 90 and above. So with Virginia Tech having an asset like Dellinger, it's really going to be huge.
And I think you have to recognize the lack of a shift here from the Hokies because of that velocity. Because he's throwing it so hard, hitters are going to be behind it, and they're going to hit it the other way. Therefore, the Hokies playing straight up.
Linder makes contact with that, and it'll be a 2-2 count.
Tucker Linder, the amazing thing about him is he was a pitcher all through high school and through his first couple of years of college, where he started at Kent State and then played at Galveston Junior College. But last year he switched to being a position player, and now he's one of the best hitters on this ball club.
That's for sure. He does that. Does transfer, comes to Marshall, gets into a new opportunity, and right now, great move there by the Marshall manager. And he swings and misses. Dellinger gets Tucker Linder out, and a huge strikeout.
And Dellinger throwing that 91, 92 mile an hour heat, but there just gets Linder off balance, looking for that fastball, but instead hits him with the changeup and gets him way out in front on that front foot. Strike 3.
It's always more comfortable to get that that second out, of course, because now you're thinking to yourself, force out any. Just need to make one out now. Don't have to worry about any runners on a sacrifice. Swing right there by Ray Pastrana, but he's going to do right to the right fielder, Kerry Carpenter, and that is the top half of the inning here. As Marshall University does not get runs and leaves another runner in scoring position. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to 3304 Sports. All right, we're back here for 3304 Sports, and the Marshall Thundering Herd have made a pitching change after Ryan Capuano got rocked there in the second inning, some would say. And Sam Boone now is coming up to pitch for the Marshall Thundering Herd. As you look at Sam Boone, he is a redshirt senior from Shoreline, Washington, where he actually went to community college there at Shoreline Community. And some interesting things about Sam Boone is that this year he has a win-loss of 1-1, but his ERA is a .0 through 8 innings pitched. He has one save this year, so he might be used for later game scenarios, but we see him here at the bottom of the third inning.
Boone on the season, 8 innings pitched, just 1 run allowed. So he's been solid for this Marshall Thundering Herd out of the bullpen.
So Dalton Harum started off the inning last time for the Virginia Tech Hokies, and he will start again as they went through 9 batters that last half frame. As he swings on the first pitch, and it will be strike 1.
Boone, a big, hard-throwing right-hander. Kind of different from Capuano, who is a little bit shorter and didn't throw quite as hard as Boone is going to against the Hokies.
And Harum swings again. And now it's an 0-2 count.
Harum started off the rally last time with the single. Ended up coming in on that Biddison home run.
That one's a little bit outside. And that'll be ball number 1 on the count. Both teams making pitching changes. Didn't start the best for Dellinger, but Sam Boone is trying to get done with his batter first. Ball was in the dirt. Another great block there by Kyle Scheffler. Excuse me for the mispronunciation. And it's hit by Aram, going to the right field side, and it is out. Catch there by Luke Edwards. And now Tanner Thomas is coming up to the plate. Did not have a hit last time at his bat. Instead, he struck out swinging before the offense exploded there.
Capuano had 2 strikeouts last inning, but couldn't get much else done.
That'd be strike number 1 right there to Tanner Thomas. That one was high and away. Great catch there by the catcher, Scheffler. Of course, no one was on bag, though, so no one could take advantage of the high pitch.
We've seen 2 great defensive performances by Schaefer and Biddison behind the plate.
Doesn't swing at that one, and it's a good eye as it hits the dirt. Now it's a 2-1 count for Tanner Thomas. As is strike 2. And that would now be a 2-2 count.
Thomas batting .227 on the year.
Tanner Thomas hit the back of the dirt. Now, Jake, it's really interesting. Virginia Tech right now trying to go out with their 500th win here at English Field. And, of course, right now they have a nice start to the game, a 5-0 lead.
And the Hokies, the athletic staff just renovated this field, so it must feel good to get that 500th win here if they can finish it off today at home. And it's a great accomplishment for this Virginia Tech's program.
Certainly is. Tanner Thomas fouls that down to the left field side. Thinking about how all the great Virginia Tech memories have happened here at English Field. Of course, hosting some regionals, the latest in 2013. It would just be great to really see a program reach that 500 win total.
Definitely would. And it'd be great to do it against Marshall here at home and not have to postpone it any longer.
Thomas makes the play. It's grounded up there by the second baseman and makes the connection to Pastrana.
Ray Pastrana making the putout on that play. He was a catcher for his first 3 years here at Marshall, but transferring over to first base like a lot of catchers will do, trying to preserve those knees.
Nick Owens is coming up to bat now.
Last time up, he had that crucial bunt that started. Never mind. Sorry, Jack Owens had the bunt. Nick Owens had the infield single.
For sure, he hit it to the left side of Peralta. Was able to get there safely on the infield single. Takes the first strike.
You got 2 Owens, both playing in the middle infield. Mix them up sometimes.
Ooh, and that hit his head. Stoppage of play as they let Nick Owens takes his base. Seems to be okay. Took a little contact, but he was able to run it off.
You got to run immediately down to first base. You can't let that pitcher know he hurt you. You don't rub it. You run straight there and just know that you got ice when you go back in.
So Nick Holsa is coming up the bat. Pinch hitting for Grish Gerard. As he's running. After getting hit, he's going to make the play. And he's going to be safe Peralta's not able to make the catch, but it seemed that Nick Owens was already there, and now another runner in scoring position.
Peralta may have gotten hit on his throwing hand there. Took a weird hop. I think it got him right on the hand, but unable to make the play, and now Nick Owens in scoring position.
Funny thing about the Virginia Tech Hokies right now is that with 2 outs, they're 4 of 6. So they're great at getting these hits and continuing these innings. Swings at that one for the first strike of the count.
Big swing from Loce there. He had a home run this weekend, the first of his career, and looked like he may have wanted to get the second right there.
Also, Nick Owens, with that steal, is the first stolen base of the game, coming here in the bottom of the third inning.
Both Owens have speed out there for the Hokies, and they've used that to their advantage for both of them today.
1-1 count now. Boone delivers, and another swing there. Seem to be swinging for the fences, trying to make the most contact that he can. And also, he's got to think to himself, if I can make a contact on this ball right here, send it to the outfield, I could send my teammate Nick Owens home.
He's got to shorten up here with 2 strikes. Just try and make contact towards the right side of the infield and try and get Owens over at least.
And he swings high and away, and that will be the end of the third inning. Swinging at one of those high pitches, 82-mile-per-hour heats. So the Virginia Tech defense will come back onto the field, and Marshall gets into the bottom half of their lineup. Make sure to not go anywhere. You're listening to 3304 Sports. Welcome back here to 3304 Sports, and Luke Edwards will start off the inning here for the Marshall Fighting Herd. It's 5-0 Hokies here at the top of the fourth. No runs scored in that previous inning by either team, but Jack Dellinger will once again take the mound for the Virginia Tech Hokies. First pitch by Dellinger seems to be a ball.
Dellinger struggling with his control here just a little bit. 18 pitches, 11 of them strikes, so he had a walk in the last inning. We'll see if he can rein it back in here in his second inning of work.
And that pitch is low and away. Now it's a 2-0 count. The problem with the Marshall Thundering Herd, Jake, has been they left 5 runners on base. A statistic that they do not want in their favor as Edwards takes a strike.
Definitely. They left 2 on in the first, 1 on in the second, and that doesn't include the caught stealing in the second, and then 2 on again in the third.
Luke Edwards fouls that one down the left field line, and let me tell you something, Dellinger's pace might be one of the quickest I've ever seen.
He's working very fast. He doesn't just throw fast. He gets on that rubber and he's going.
And that's a swing and another strikeout for Dellinger as he gets Luke Williams.
Dellinger's second strikeout in his 1 1/3 innings of work. Seems like he's one of those guys. He's either going to strike you out or he's going to walk you. No one can seem to hit him, but it's just whether he has control.
That pitch is high and outside there by Dellinger, once again reaching that 91-mile-per-hour mark. Incredible heat with this arm that Dellinger has. As that one is fouled away to make it a 1-1 count. Now the thing about Dellinger is that he is 6'6", a tall pitcher. Of course, Sam Boone as well is also 6'8". So with these tall pitchers, they're able to get more speed on the play, more speed behind their pitch.
Yeah, they've got those long wingspans that just allow you to get a lot more whip on that ball when you're coming through, and it leads to higher velocities.
1-2 count right now here for Kyle Scheffler. And that one is low. 94. A little bit low
Dellinger.
and away, and that's the highest I have seen at the collegiate level for some time.
Dellinger's really reaching back, trying to find that extra gear here in this inning.
That's also as low and inside as well, and now we have a full count here as Scheffler has been working it well. It was 1-2, but now it's 3-2.
It's interesting. The Hokies shifted towards right field, even though he's throwing this hard.
Ground ball right there, and the connection between Owens and Taylor is good.
Guess Coach Sheff knows better than I do, as I was just questioning the shift, and Schaefer hits right into it on the very next pitch. So it works out there, even though the shifting had hurt the Hokies earlier in the game.
That's very true. Daniel Cruz was walked up the last time, his first ever time reaching base on balls. As he looks at that one, and it's a strike, 93 miles per hour. I know I keep on saying this number, but it's very impressive to see what he can do.
He's definitely been heating up as his time here in this game has gone on. He throws that one inside, but taking a little speed off of it. 81 miles an hour changeup. And these pitchers that can throw hard, the key is being able to change speeds.
He makes contact right there, and it's caught in the air by Jack Owens. And just like that, a 1-2-3 inning there by Jacob Dellinger. Quite the performance. When we come back, we will see the Hokies batting order from the top of the lineup with Jack Owens, Nick Biddison, and Carson Taylor. You're listening to 33 Over Sports. Ready. Well, welcome back here to the 3304 Sports production of the Virginia Tech Hokies baseball team as they are taking on the Marshall Thundering Herd. Sam Boone is still up on the mound pitching for the Thundering Herd, although there is someone warming up in the bullpen, it appears, last half inning, but Sam Boone is still got to say.
He had a good inning last time out. One inning pitched, obviously. He's only pitched one inning. And he had a strikeout. No hits, no walks, so keeping the hot hand in there.
I mean, that's what you have to do right there. No hits, no walks. You're pitching a pretty good inning right there, that's for sure. Jack Owens second at bat. He's had 2 hits. He had the crucial bunt with 2 outs at the bottom of the second, which set up the Nick Biddison grand slam. So this man's got speed and he's got intelligence, and that's a good ball player right there.
And Cruz playing pretty much in line with third base, not giving him that opportunity again.
The pitch is high and outside for a 1-1 count.
Marshall's definitely learned from their mistakes. They're not. Owens is not going to get this bunt down again. And if he does, he'll most likely be thrown out.
Owens makes contact, flying high. Doesn't seem to be deep enough, though, as the catch is made by Rodriguez in the center field. The first out that Owens has suffered, and here comes the man that sent 3 home last time, Biddison.
See what he can do in this at-bat. Popped out his first time. Obviously the grand slam last time. See if he can have an encore performance here in his third at-bat in the 4th inning.
Biddison takes a deep breath and gets ready for the at-bat. First pitch right down the middle. It's 84, and it'll be strike 1. Now this is what they definitely need right here, Marshall. They definitely need to get through this part of the lineup and make sure that, they can't let the score get more out of hand. As Biddison watches that one for strike number 2.
Boone has done a good job cleaning up after Ryan Capuano, giving up 5 runs in the first 2 innings. He's well on his way to getting 2 scoreless innings and keeping the Thundering Herd in this game.
Biddison swings at that one, and it's fouled up right above our heads.
I feel like it landed right on top of us.
Biddison stays alive here. The 0-2 count. That one's inside, and it'll be the first ball of the at-bat.
As I mentioned earlier, he leads the team in walks with 33, so he certainly knows how to work a count.
Boone winds up. The pitch, delivery, and it's made with contact, but it's it goes foul again. Down the left field side, so Biddison staying within the count, trying to look for that moment where Boone may pitch a favorable pitch.
Yeah, Biddison really fighting this at bat, gotten it to 1-2 after starting with 2 straight strikes, fouled off 2 pitches, trying to work it back into his favor.
Biddison hits it, going to center field again. Rodriguez is hustling back to the warning track, and a catch there made by Rodriguez. He has been quite busy this inning, as that's the second out to go his way. Biddison got a good whack on that pitch, but just about 20 feet short of being a second home run of the game.
Biddison almost following up with another one. Pretty much any other part of the park, that one probably is gone. He hit it to the deepest part out in right center. And Rodriguez showing off the speed, getting there in time.
So now Carson Taylor comes up to bat. He has been sorry about that.
He had the sac fly that brought in Owens in the first inning, and then a single last time up.
So after that first strike, Taylor swings at that one, and the count is 0-2.
Boone has been really good in relief so far. 27 pitches, 19 of them strikes. Still has not allowed a hit or a walk.
Boone getting ready to wind up here, hoping to close out the inning on this pitch. And that is high. That's a good eye there by Carson Taylor to keep the count going.
This is the matchup that the Hokies want. Carson Taylor batting .306 on the season, but .424 against right-handed pitchers. So an opportunity here to keep this inning alive.
As he watches that one and called a ball. That one could have gone either way, Jake.
It was close. Almost got that inside corner. I think it might have been a little low and a little inside, allowing Taylor to extend this at bat.
Taylor working with it now. Has worked it up to a 2-2 count here. And he watches that one, and he is struck out looking. So a 1-2-3 inning right there by Sam Boone to end the fourth. So Marshall has been making the adjustments needed to stop the Hokies from scoring. But you know what? This brings the end of the fourth inning. So now David Cunningham and Dylan Campbell will come on for the air for the remainder of the game. Jake, it was nice working with you today.
Pleasure working with you. We got a great finish coming up here. Hokies leading 5-0. And we'll see you on the other side. For 3304 Sports, I'm Jake Lyman,
And
alongside
I'm
Andy Loce.
Welcome back to 3304 Sports. I'm your play-by-play man for the next 3 innings, Dylan Campbell, alongside with my color commentator, David Cunningham, bringing you the CC Connection. As the Hokies have made a pitching change with Ryan Okuda coming in the game for Jake Dellinger as he delivers a first pitch ball. At the plate now for the Marshall Thunderbird, Gordon Blayton, who is 0 for 1 on the day at his only at bat.
Yeah, the Hokies are currently up 5-0 in the top of the 5th inning. We've seen some good baseball already so far today.
Yes, we have, as Okuda delivers a strike as he gets Jordan Blayton swinging and missing as the count sits at 1-2 advantage Okuda and the Hokies as he gets ready for the fourth pitch. And it is little outside to the right, second ball 2-2 count. Hokies up 5-0. Blanton doing a good job of working back up the count after facing 2 strikes early in the count. Okuda delivers. Strike 3 as Blanton strikes out, looking to give the Hokies their first out of the top of the 5th.
Yeah, first guy down. I mean, you come right in for Okuda comes right in for Dellinger. First batter, strikeout. I mean, can't ask for anything better than that if you're John Sheff, head coach of the Hokies.
Yeah, John Sheff has to be pleased of Ryan Okuda coming in and going ahead and getting a strikeout to start. Eric Rodriguez up to bat for Marshall as he looks at a first pitch strike. Rodriguez, who comes from San Juan, Puerto Rico, was coached by Luis Castro, a scout for the Philadelphia Phillies. Batted .234 and stole 7 bases last year, but this year he's gotten those numbers up to .336 and 18 stolen bases respectively, as he stays looking for a second time, for a second strike in a row. 0-2 count, advantage Okuda. And with 2 strikes, 0 balls here, David, what are you thinking if you're Rodriguez?
Well, there you go. Good.
Yeah, there's Rodriguez making a contact, bounces straight to Okuda, who flips it to first, but Rodriguez beats the throw and is safe as Taylor squeezed it in right before he made.
Yeah, I mean, that was you asked me what I think he should do. That's probably not what Rodriguez wants to do, but he not bunted, but he hit it right to the pitcher. Should have been an easy play, but hey, he got on base. Not the best play from Okuda to first baseman Carson Taylor, but Rodriguez made the most of it.
With Rodriguez on first, Elvis Peralta Jr. comes out to bat. During his tenure at Crowder College, JUCO, he was Region 16 Player of the Year as well as the most outstanding hitter at the JUCO World Series. As Okuda delivers a first pitch ball, 1-0 count, advantage Peralta. On the day, Peralta, 1 at bat, no hits but a walk. Looking forward to getting on the bases once again, as he now has the advantage with a 2-0 count with another ball out on the left side of the plate of home plate. As Okuda gonna have to work something down the middle here and make Peralta work a little bit. Okuda delivers the pitch right down the middle for strike 1. 2-1 count. Hokies lead Marshall 5-0 at the top of the 5th inning. Okuda, who has just came in for Jake Dellinger, is doing pretty well so far as he delivers the 4th pitch of the at bat, and gets a second strike of 2-2 count. David Peralta here, he's pretty much got to swing at almost anything unless it's egregiously outside.
Yeah, you would think so, but Okuda, he started off the inning really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that should have been an out. It should have been an easy play, that last batter, but he started off well.
As Peralta makes contact but fouls left side, going over the safety net and into the stone stands just outside the stadium as the count remains 2-2.
Yeah, like you said, Peralta just kind of has to swing at everything right now. He's got a guy on first base, but 2-2 count not really in his favor.
As Okuda sends one down the middle, Peralta makes solid contact, but Dalton Harem able to squeeze it in center field to get the first out of the inning for the Hokies.
Yeah, you think about it, if Okuda had made that play on Rodriguez, the second batter this inning, it would be three up, 3 down. But Rodriguez still sitting on first base, and now Zach Inskeep comes up to bat for the Thundering Herd.
Zach Inskeep, the 6'1", 230-pound junior out of Coos Bay, Oregon, while at Yakima Valley Community College was first team all conference, all NWAC, all region, and all American as a designated hitter as he looks at a first pitch ball from Okuda. And Inskeep comes from a family of athletes as his father played water polo at Long Beach State and as well as for the U.S. national team. So pretty interesting background for the Herd's Inskeep. As catcher Biddison and the team meets Okuda at the mound, maybe trying to reel him in a little bit after that first ball as well as allowing what should have been an out.
Yeah, but Okuda's done very well so far this inning. He came in, struck out the first batter, Jordan Blanton. Rodriguez got on base, and then Peralta pops out. So 2 outs, 3 batters. The other one should have been an out, but the Hokies, if you're John Sheff, you've got to be very happy right now. You're in the top of the 5th. You're up 5-0. You haven't given up a run yet. This is your 3rd pitcher, and he has played a very well inning so far. So far, so good for the Hokies. I don't think there's anything you can really be disappointed at. You know, your hitting's been pretty good so far, and your pitching has too.
Yes, the pitching has been a strong boy for the Hokies with Metz, Dellinger, and Okuda so far delivering pretty strong performances as they have yet to allow a run through 5 innings. As Okuda stares down Inskeep from the mound, loads, and fires the pitch out to the right and outside of the plate for ball 2. Inskeep battling the count. He on both at bats. He has he has 2 hits and 2 at bats. Leads the team with a .336 batting average. Right now, making Okuda work up in the count as Okuda gets set to throw, and he tries to pick on Peralta at first, but Peralta gets back in time and is safe on the intended pickoff. Okuda looking at home plate, surveying, deciding what he's about to do with this next pitch. Okuda swings his leg, fires a strike over the middle. 2-1 count.
Yeah, I feel like if you're Inskeep, you're kind of in the same situation Peralta was. You got a guy on first, but you guys haven't had any success. You got to kind of swing at everything.
And swing at everything they do as Inskeep makes contact on the ball, but the Hokies able to get the force out on first to end the inning as the Hokies are up 5-0 at the end of the top of the 5th over Marshall. We'll be back to you after the break with Team 3304 Sports. Welcome back to 3304 Sports here at English Field at Union Park for the bottom of the 5th here in Blacksburg as the Virginia Tech Hokies lead the marshalling Herd 5-0, and the Herd going with a pitching change here, bringing in Hunter Sexton. Sexton, no relation to Colin Sexton, was All-State in high school at Jackson High and had 6 straight appearances without allowing an earned run. So we'll see if he can carry that into this game for Marshall as they are in desperate need of containing the Hokies and keeping this lead.
Yeah, Marshall hasn't had great success so far from pitching. Ryan Capano, he pitched. He had 45 pitches, but he gave up all of the runs. Boone did all right, but I think putting Hunter Sexton in gives you a different option. He's pitched fairly well so far this season.
Yeah, and up to bat now for the Hokies is the offensive juggernaut that you've been hearing about all game long, Kerry Carpenter, the right fielder out of Eustis, Florida. He leads the team in hits, home runs, runs, and RBIs, has started all 32 games for the Hokies thus far, and is part of that St. John's Rivers College crew with Nick Owens in here, Herd as Sexton is ready to deliver this first pitch. And it is a strike down the right side of the plate for Sexton. to get a 0-1 count early, get into a little groove, and that's got to be huge for his confidence, David.
Yeah, first pitch you throw, it's a strike. I mean, there's nothing you can ask for if you're Marshall.
Carpenter swaying the bat of the plate as he awaits the pitch, and foul tip to the left side of the field as it hits the wall and bounces back on the field. Foul, 0-2 count. Carpenter, he's offensive juggernaut like we said. He's gotten on base today with a hit and a walk, but right now facing an 0-2 count to Sexton, who has just came in relief for the LeBron James size 6'8", 260 Sam Boone. As Sexton sends it high over the plate for ball one, count 1-2. Virginia Tech leads Marshall 5-0. Bottom of the fifth. Base is empty. First at bat of the inning. And Carpenter with 8 home runs on the season will look to add number 9. As he fouls another one behind him, making the count as the count remains 1-2. As Carpenter just fighting to stay alive, waiting for a pitch that he deems nice. And right now, David, this game kind of has a little bit of the similar feeling of the last Marshall-Virginia Tech game as Carpenter fouls another one behind him. That, Virginia Tech dominates from the start. It's been kind of looking that way as of now.
Yeah, when in that Marshall game, Marshall went up 2-0 early, but Tech was still dominating, and Tech just came roaring back and won 11-3. Marshall here haven't scored any runs.
As Carpenter pops one up to the left field side, and Marshall drops an easy out.
Yeah, that's a unfortunate error for Marshall, but I mean that just shows that things have not been going Marshall's way at all today. But like we were talking about, the Hokies started off on fire in Charleston, West Virginia, back on March 20th against the Thundering Herd. They didn't get on the board early, but they came back and scored runs, and they're up 5-0 right now in the bottom of the fifth.
Yep, Hokies in the driver's seat with Carpenter facing a 1-1 count from Hunter Sexton, who just came in at the top this inning. As Sexton delivers it outside the plate as Carpenter swings, but as he will remain up to bat.
Yeah, 1-2 count. I mean, that was a good pitch. Carpenter got contact, but that should have been an easy catch for the third baseman from Marshall, Daniel Cruz, but he dropped it.
Nothing going Marshall's way right now as Carpenter fouls once again, and he is just fighting to stay alive, channeling his little Aretha Franklin, staying alive. Foul tip after foul tip, working the pitch count for Sexton. Sexton, who just came in, has already thrown in the double digits as he gets Carpenter swinging for the first out of the inning. Strike 3.
Yeah, he came. I mean, first, just like Okuda for the Hokies. Pitching change. First batter comes up, strikeout. Good pitching there from Hunter Sexton. 6 pitches, five of them were strikes, and they should have had the out when Carpenter popped up, but they didn't get him.
As Kevin Madden is at the plate, try to bunt to start off the series, but just missed it for retracted his bat at the last second for the ball. 1-0 count. As Madden sway in that bat, looking to get into a little rhythm, get some contact on the ball, and he does as a grounder goes straight to the second baseman and throws it to the first for the out as Blanton hits Pastrana for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, so now your Marshall.
2 out, sorry.
Yeah, everything this inning going the right way for Marshall. Besides that drop pop out by Cruz, but they just made up for it with the strikeout. Now they got their second out. as Kevin Madden grounds a second, and it's a toss out to first. So here we go, third bat of the inning. Maybe it'll be just like the top of the inning, 3 up, 3 down.
And that aforementioned third batter is Dalton Harum, the junior who bats .255 on the season. As we get a first pitch ball.
Yeah, Harum, he's one of 6 players between the two teams from the state of Washington. How crazy is that?
Yeah,
You know, you're out in Virginia and West Virginia, and there's 6 players between the two teams from one of the states on the other side of the country. But 4 of them are on the Hokies roster. John Sheff looks like he likes those guys from the other side of the state.
Yeah, it
or
looks like those
country.
guys from the other side of the state may have heard about the good food here in Blacksburg, may have enticed them to come across the country. As Sexton delivers, and as the first baseman just scoops it, Pastrana just tosses it to Sexton for the 3 up, 3 down inning. As Marshall fighting to stay alive, trying to garner some momentum on their side. As the Hokies remain in the lead at the end of 5-0. With 3304 Sports, we'll be back with you after the break. Welcome back to 3304 Sports here at English Field at Union Park, here at the top of the 6th, where Tucker Linder for Marshall is up to bat. He continued his 16-game hitting streak, making it a 17-game hit streak with his hit earlier in the game, as Okuda stays on the mound for Hokies and delivers his first pitch across the middle. Linder hits it high in the air, as third baseman Kevin Madden squeezes it in his glove for the first out in the inning on the first pitch. And David, that's a perfect start for the Hokies.
Yeah, the Hokies have started these past 2 innings pretty perfect. Okuda comes in, only lets 1 run on, one hit last inning. It was only a single, and then they ended up finishing the other 2 outs. But he and the defense have done a pretty good start these last 2 innings.
And Ray Pastrana, who's up to bat, has 2 hits in 5 straight games, but has gone this whole game without a hit. We'll see if he can break that slump at this at-bat, as he takes first pitch strike down the middle from Okuda, giving Okuda the early 0-1 advantage. Hokies lead 5-0, top of the 6th, as Okuda launches one across the middle. Pastrana makes solid contact high in the air, and it is squeezed in by right fielder Kerry Carpenter for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Marshall just can't seem to get anything going on offense. I mean, Tech had the bats going early, but hasn't really had anything since. But Marshall hasn't seemed to be able to get anything at all, especially these last 2 innings. Since Okuda came in, they only had that 1 hit last inning, and I mean, besides that, 6 batters, 5 outs.
And speaking of Okuda, 3 pitches, 2 outs. His 4th pitch, looking to get his 3rd out, as second baseman Jack Owens gets underneath of it and catches it, as the Hokies retire the side in record time in this game, as they do it within 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was a very, very fast top of the inning. I mean, 3 up, 3 down once again, but Okuda's come in and he's been rock solid for John Sheff and the Hokies. 1 strikeout and then 2 pop-ups. So nothing more you can ask for if you're the Hokies.
Yeah, Okuda, I was a little overly critical of him when he first came up, but he is absolutely dealing right now. 4 pitches, 3 outs. There's not much better you can do as a pitcher where you get 3 outs and only have to throw 4 pitches. That is incredible efficiency from Okuda, as Tanner Thomas will come up to bat at the bottom of the inning here in the 6th here at English Park here in Blacksburg, Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, he's faced 7 batters so far. He's only allowed 1 hit. He's thrown 16 strikes on 22 pitches. I mean, he's been on fire since he came in the 5th inning. But I mean, Marshall, now they're on defense. They just gotta hope their pitching change they made last inning. Hunter Sexton, who he threw 7 strikes on 11 pitches to start and didn't allow a hit. They've got to hope he can keep a scoreless inning real quick, so they can get back into it in the top of the 7th.
Yes, the Herd have to be hoping that Sexton can retire the side here quickly and give Marshall another chance to get up to bat and spark some momentum. Batting first for the Hokies will be Tanner Thomas, the junior from Jacksonville, Florida. He bats .227 on the season with 1 home run and 15 RBIs. Played 2 seasons at Tallahassee Community College before trekking to Blacksburg to become a Hokie. In high school, he batted .400 with 5 home runs, and on this year he has 5 doubles with the Hokies. So maybe with his first at bat, he could turn that to 6 and get a running and score position early for Virginia Tech. Sexton set the deal. His first pitch at the bottom of the 6th here. Virginia Tech leading 5-0. Sexton delivers a pitch that gets over the left side of the plate for a first pitch strike, 0-1 count. Giving Marshall a little bit of breathing room here to start the bottom of the 6th. Tom is looking calm though, as Sexton's next pitch misses just outside the right side of the plate for a ball for a 1-1 count. Sexton patiently making the batter think, but unable to get a strike as that pitch just sails a little bit too high for the 2-1 count advantage Thomas and the Hokies. As nightfall is starting to touch down here in Blacksburg, as Sexton throws a 3rd straight ball, and with a 3-1 count, that is not a good start for Marshall.
No, not at all. I mean, I just said, Sexton's got to get a quick start and not allow anything. But, he's thrown 3 straight balls, and one more ball, and you got a guy on base.
And the next pitch is a walk as Tanner Thomas does a check swing. Does not, umpire say it's clean. Takes his walk to first base. And Sexton with 4 straight balls there, he looks like he's losing a little bit of control after only throwing just 4 balls in all of the last inning.
Yeah, I mean, I just said it. You can't afford to throw to get a guy on base. I mean, now the Hokies have Nick Owens up. He scored a run and had a hit earlier. So I mean, now you're getting into the danger zone if you're Marshall.
And Owens, who bats .275 above his season average against right-handed pitchers, as he normally bats .248, normally, as the first pitch is another ball for Sexton, his 5th straight, after throwing just 4 all of last inning. Fatigue seems to be kicking in for the right-hander. But he gets back on track with a 2nd pitch strike as he gets Owens swinging on a ball that looked like it was going down the middle but dropped down at the last second. Good pitch there from Sexton to get back on track.
Yeah, Sexton's got to keep up that momentum and keep his confidence up, or else, he might let another guy on base.
As Sexton seems to get back into a groove, throwing a strike straight down the middle off a fastball. 1-2 count for Sexton as he went from walking a batter, getting a man on first, to taking advantage with the 1-2 count. Hokies with the 5-0 lead, bottom of the 6th. Sexton fires, and it is foul after it bounces in the air. Dribbles to the first baseman, foul.
Yeah, dribbled down the first baseline right there, but Sexton has looked better against Nick Owens. Maybe it's because he's a righty. Thomas, who just batted and is currently on base, is a lefty. But I think a strikeout or an outright here in general would do a lot to his confidence.
We'll see if Sexton can get some of that swagger back with the pitch here. Owens makes solid contact, but the Thunder and Herd able to make the 6-4-3 double play as they're able to get 2 quick outs there, and that's got to be a sigh of relief for Marshall.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Confidence booster. A good pitch from Sexton, but a good hit from Nick Owens, and he hit it right down to the shortstop. Uh, Peralta flipped it to Blanton, and he just uh, gave it to Pastrana on first. I mean, Pastrana was stretching, but they got Nick Owens out, and now that was a nice double play, and they've got to have their confidence up now. But the Hokies, they I don't think they're in trouble or anything, but because they've got a 5-0 lead. But Marshall, they've got to feel very confident after that play right there.
Despite the first pitch ball, Marshall's got to be feeling pretty good as they force a strike there off the foul tip from Nick Holsa. 1-1 count. Virginia Tech leads Marshall 5-0. Bottom of the sixth. 2 outs after the 6-4-3 double play. Holsa, who was 2 for 3 against Wake Forest in the last outing, has 2 at bats tonight and has struck out twice, so hopefully a reverse of fortunes for him as he faces as he is ahead in the count 2-1 over Hunter Sexton. Sexton, his 25th pitch of the night and his 12th ball, so about even with balls to strikes, but a lot more balls than strikes during these last few pitches as 3-1 as Holsa has the advantage with the 3-1 count. He's going to force Sexton to give him a perfect pitch, and he does right down the middle with the fastball as he gets Holsa swinging, making it a full count, 3-2. And he's really got to swing at anything here, David.
Yeah, I mean, he's hoping for that ball, but
as Sexton gets him with the low breaking ball to end the inning, strike 3. Virginia Tech remains in the lead at the bottom of the sixth, 5-0. But Marshall maybe can get a little bit of momentum with Sexton able to retire 3 quickly. We'll be back with you with 3304 Sports after this. Welcome back to Blacksburg, where we're here for the top of the 7th inning between the Virginia Tech Hokies and the Marshall Thundering Herd on the baseball diamond, as the Hokies lead 5-0. And with Kyle Schaefer coming up to bat, he struck out in the top of the second and grounded out in the top of the fourth, so looking to get on base for the first time tonight. As Okuda remains on the mound for the Hokies and delivers a first pitch strike.
yeah, Okuda and Sexton, the 2 pitchers that both came in during the 5th inning, both looking pretty sharp so far.
Yeah, good decisions by both managers as Okuda throws a wild pitch. Excuse me, that was a strike, making it a 0-2 count in favor of Okuda. My apologies. Okuda gets one across the middle, but Schaefer able to tip it foul over the safety nets on the left side of the field. 1-2 count, Okuda.
And 2-2.
Yep, 2-2 count.
Yeah, Schaefer, he's been all right so far. He hasn't gotten a hit yet, but I just jinxed him. Maybe. Nope.
As Schaefer beats the throw at home, or not home, excuse me, as Schaefer beats the throw to first and is safe to give Marshall a man on base early. It's got to spark a little bit of life into the Thundering Herd, as Schaefer just barely beats the throw, but nevertheless beats it.
Yeah, I don't know how the heck I just jinxed him, but I did. I mean, I said he hadn't gotten on base yet, and he did, but good play, and yeah, like you said, Marshall probably has confidence now. They did very well in the bottom, pitching and on defense, and now they have their chance on offense, and 1 or 2 runs. I mean, knocking Schaefer in would be a big, big confidence boost for the Thundering Herd this inning.
Yes, it would, but right now, Daniel Cruz facing the 0-1 hole to Okuda. Looked like he was going to attempt a bunt, but ended up retracting it, and he is safe after he was nearly picked off by Nick Biddison, who launched the throw to first immediately after, as Schaefer looked to be taken off, getting a little greedy after getting on base for the first time this game. Okuda, 1-1 count, looks to take advantage with the strike, as it is tipped to the second baseman Jack Owens, as he makes the out, but the base runner advances to second. Schaefer now on second. With one out, Virginia Tech leads Marshall 5-0, and Marshall with the man in scoring position, you got to be desperate to drive in this run.
Yeah, I don't know if you call that a sacrifice play because it was a pretty good hit and it was a good play by Jack Owens. But you got Schaefer to second. Now you got to try to hit him in. Like you said, they got to be desperate for a hit. But Jordan Blanton comes up bottom of the lineup. If he can get on base, Eric Rodriguez coming up next.
And at 2 at-bats, Blanton has a flyout and a strikeout, so he's looking to change the narrative of this game for him, as Schaefer did earlier with the first at-bat of the top of the 7th. As Okuda gets a first pitch strike, getting the early advantage in the count. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, and sorry to interrupt, but when you look at, I'm just looking at Marshall's batting order, and only Rodriguez, who's first in the batting order, and then Inskeep and Linder, who are 3 and 4. They're the only guys that have a hit so far. But I just jinxed him again. There goes Jordan Blanton, and now Schaefer's on third base. So now you got to put all your chips in if you're Marshall.
After the single by Blanton, Schaefer advances to third as Blanton beats the throw to first. And Marshall with a little extra pep in their step at beating a couple of these throws to first.
Yeah, the Hokies, I don't know if they're getting too confident, but and that's what it appears a little bit. Okuda started off well, and he's thrown 24 strikes on 32 pitches, so he's done pretty well. But it just seems like the infielders just haven't been making plays, really.
Yeah, infielders with rare lapses this game. They've been solid all game long. Look to get back in rhythm here as Eric Rodriguez fouls off the first pitch to the left side of the field. Hokies lead the Thundering Herd 5-0, top of the 7th. 1 out, a man on first and third. Marshall looking for their first points of the game, looking to try to get a run and get back in this thing.
Yeah, and you got a guy on scoring position in third, and you got Rodriguez who had a hit earlier, but he's also popped up 4 times. He's looking to bunt right here. Hopefully that could get Schaefer in for the Herd, but I don't know if bunting is the thing you want to do here.
And bunting ended up costing him a strike there as Okuda moves the count to 0-2. Looking to force a second out of the inning and not allow Schaefer to advance home from third. As Okuda is able to get strike 3 on Rodriguez, making him a K victim, giving the Hokies their second out of the inning, as Elvis Peralta Jr., who bats .328 on the season, will look to punch in Schaefer from third and get Marshall their first points of the ball game.
Yeah, Peralta, the redshirt junior from Lawrence, Massachusetts, 5'10", but he's got a big weight on his shoulders right here. A guy on first and a guy in scoring position on third. You have to get something.
A fly out and 2 walks. Peralta might try to pressure Okuda to get him his third walk of the game. But obviously he will want.
Yeah, I don't know if Okuda ends up blocking him, that's going to put the Hokies in a really bad position because that'll bring up Zach Inskeep, who's the designated hitter for the Thundering Herd, and he's the only player on Marshall with 2 hits today. So he's not the guy you want to bring up full bases when you have a chance.
Absolutely, and with a 5-0 lead, 2 outs, you just want to go ahead and put this threat to bed with an out here. Okuda with a 0-1 count delivers a second pitch strike, making it a 0-2 count. Okuda with the advantage, essentially playing with house money here, can throw either inside or outside the strike zone. Has all 4 balls to work with, and Okuda is going to try to put the fire out on this Marshall threat. Hokies lead 5-0. Okuda fires, gets Peralta swinging and missing strike 3 to end the threat, end the inning, leaving a man on first and third stranded to end the inning. David, that's a big sigh of relief there for the Hokies.
Yeah, that's a good. The Hokies are breathing a sigh of relief. If you're Marshall, you've got to be very disappointed. Not that you didn't hit well because you got 2 guys on, but man, Zach Peralta's got to be kicking himself for that. He went to bunt and he went to bunt and didn't even get contact, and that was one of his strikes. And then he ended up swinging on the other 2, so he didn't even get a foul tip or make contact or anything, which is tough if you're Marshall because that you get that guy on base and you're looking pretty good. He gets a base hit, and you got a guy, the guy on third base who was in scoring position. He's hit in, but Marshall couldn't take advantage of it. And I mean, if you're the Hokies, you've got to feel very good right now because you just avoided the biggest threat Marshall's thrown at you all game.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's gotta be happy with how they ended the inning after allowing 2 runners that looked like sure outs to be safe at first, ending the threat, leaving 2 Marshall runners stranded at first and third respectively, as Marshall makes another pitching change, bringing in Brian Calloway, bringing him in for Hunter Sexton, and they're looking for any sort of spark to kind of get them back in this game. The hit totals are similar between the 2 teams. Virginia Tech has 7 hits on the evening, while Marshall has 5. But Virginia Tech's second inning 4-run outburst has really been the difference in the game.
Yeah, Marshall bringing in right-handed junior pitcher Brian Calloway, like you said, 6'8", 255. He's huge.
I bet he's the one that always gets asked to grab the cans off the counter for mom or grandma.
Yeah, but I mean he's got a 7.62 ERA. But honestly, I think Marshall's just going for anything at this point. Calpano had 45. He threw 45 pitches, and then Boone threw 32 pitches, and now Sexton threw 27. So the amount of pitches thrown by each pitcher has decreased. But I think Marshall's become more and more desperate over the past few innings.
And here at the bottom of the 7th, with Jack Owens up to the plate, who boasts the Hokies' highest batting average at .329. And in 3 at-bats today, Owens has 2 hits. He will look to add a third one here, as he sends a shot across the middle, but Gordon Blanton able to make a diving grab, able to squeeze it in and get a quick early out from Marshall. Marshall looking to start like they did the last inning, David.
Yeah, Marshall started pretty well last inning, didn't really allow anything. What they did allow, they cleaned up fairly easily. But Nick Biddison up for the Hokies, and I mean he's got 4 RBIs in this game. He hit that home run earlier, so this is not a guy you want to give anything to.
Yep. And Callaway has his work cut out with him with Nick Biddison, who, as David mentioned earlier, launched the grand slam in the bottom of the 2nd inning to put Virginia Tech's lead at 5-0 after they led 1-0 after 1 inning. And the Hokies haven't looked back since. Callaway will look to get a 2nd straight out and get Marshall 1 step closer to getting back with their bats and having a shot at taking the lead. As Callaway fires one straight across the middle for strike 2. Callaway with a quick 0-2 count, and with 4 pitches, he's thrown 3 strikes. He's coming in here with great control and intense focus.
Yeah, he's done very well so far. And like I said, Bittison's the guy you don't want to give anything to. Um, but, oh, wow, and they call strike 3 there, and
Strike.
Bittison's out. So 5 pitches, 4 strikes. You're Marshall. You can't ask for anything more. And this brings up Carson Taylor, batting average of 310. But, I mean, Marshall coming out strong to start the bottom of the inning.
Yeah, 5 pitches, 4 strikes, 2 outs. Gets Biddison looking there. Gotta be happy if you're Marshall. Cattley, after throwing one right down the middle, a little high to the left side there for ball 1. And speaking of Taylor, he is the only player in his high school's history to not strike out in a single year, and that was with Greater Atlanta Christian in Duluth, Georgia. So this is a man that's known for making contact, as he makes solid contact, but Gordon Blanton ever able to make another athletic defensive play, this time a leaping grab to retire the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Marshall, 6 pitches of work, and that's it for Cali. That arm's got to be feeling good. We're here at the end of the 7th. Virginia Tech retains its 5-0 lead that it's had since Nick Bittison's grand slam at the bottom of the 2nd inning. We'll be back with 3304 Sports after this.
Welcome back to English Field at Union Park, where the Virginia Tech Hokies lead the Marshall Thundering Herd 5-0 going into the top of the 8th inning here in Blacksburg. The sun has gone down. It was a beautiful sunset earlier, and the Hokies have performed very well so far. They got all 5 runs in the first 2 innings, and Marshall hasn't seemed to be able to get on the board. In the 7th inning, last inning, Marshall had a guy on first and a guy on third, but they were stranded. But the Hokies have performed pretty well on defense to keep the shutout. On the other side, Marshall, on defense, they were phenomenal last inning. 3 up, 3 down. They had a pitching change, but Brian Cowley came in and he did everything right.
Honestly, ever since the 2nd inning, Marshall's defense has been on point. Haven't allowed a run since that grand slam in the 2nd inning. But those 4 runs and the 1 run that Virginia Tech got in the 1st inning, it's hard to overcome. But Marshall will look to do the impossible and overcome a 5-run lead.
Yeah, Hokies lead 5-0 in the top of the 8th. Marshall will have 2 chances to swing their bats to try to get back into this one. But the Hokies, they went up really early in the 2nd inning on a grand slam from catcher Nick Biddison. First pitch from Graham Seitz, and the Hokies make their 4th pitching change, or 3rd pitching change, their 4th pitcher in this ball game. Graham Seitz, the right-handed pitcher, number 28. He comes into the ball game. He is pitching against Zach Inskeep, who he's been the best hitter today for the Marshall Thundering Herd. He's got 2 hits, the only player on their roster with 2 hits, and they count right now 1-2. Good start for Graham Seitz.
Yeah, and Seitz, who only has an inning and 2/3 pitch this year, really hasn't thrown that many pitches in game action this year. Will look to get into a groove here and keep Virginia Tech in front. He threw a 1/3 pitch against Eastern Tennessee State, as well as Clemson, not on March 30th, and against High Point, he threw a full inning on March 19th.
Yeah, he has only had 3 appearances the entire season, 0 ERA, so he hasn't allowed any runs. And I guess that's why John Sheff brings him into the game, and he's got a 2-2 count right now against Zach Inskeep. As Inskeep fouls one off, goes right above our head and hits the top of the building here. You could hear that one. I thought that was going to come through the window.
For a second, I thought that was going to knock some sense into us, but fortunately, sails a little bit higher above our heads, and our noggins are still intact.
Inskeep with a 2-2 count still, 6 pitches thrown for Seitz, and Inskeep gets hit by the pitch. Seitz did not mean to hit him, but Inskeep looks like he get hit right on the wrist. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, that's one of the last places you want to get hit. I remember I bumped my wrist just a week ago on a door, and I can only imagine taking a fastball to the wrist just like Inskeep just did. Didn't look like it was retaliation like you said from earlier's hit by pitch. Just looked like simply just lost control of it.
Yeah, I don't think he meant to do that whatsoever. I mean, I think in college baseball, and especially when you just came into the game, it's very rare for you to want to hit somebody.
Yeah.
It's been a fairly calm baseball game, but Hokies still lead 5-0 here in the top of the 8th as Inskeep looks like he's doing all right now. He's on first base, and Graham Seitz will face Tucker Linder. Linder, the left fielder, right-handed batter. He's had 3 at-bats today, and he's got 1 hit, one of 4 Marshall players with 1 hit today.
Yeah, and last year versus Virginia Tech, Linder had 3 RBIs. A big performance. Will look to garner something here, maybe a 2 RBI shot to try to give Marshall some momentum.
Nick Biddison, the catcher, going to walk out to the plate, and we're going to have a little talk. The pitchers and everybody else in the infield going out there. John Sheff walking over to the pitcher's mound. Seitz just came into the game. He's thrown 9 pitches, 4 strikes, but maybe John Sheff's not happy. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think he must not like that Seitz working the count a little too much. I think he wants to get out of this game as quickly as possible. He's got a 5-run lead. He's gonna do everything in his power to maintain that, especially with Virginia Tech doing whatever it can to stay afloat in the ACC.
And Seitz looks like he's walking off the field. Looks like there's going to be another pitching change. I believe that might be Connor Yoder coming out of the bullpen. I believe. Yeah, that is Connor Yoder, number 20, the 6'7", redshirt sophomore from Enola, Pennsylvania. 4.7 ERA, and he comes in from the bullpen. John Sheff just not happy with Graham Seitz, which is unfortunate. Only 9 pitches, but like you said, he was working the count a little too much. He hit Tucker Linder. He had got 1 out, but man, if you're John Sheff, you just want to, like you said, get this game done with. I mean, you're in the top of the 8th. You just want to get it over with at this point.
Yeah, John Sheff seeing his team with a 5-point lead, going to do like I said before, going to do everything in his power to make sure they maintain that. And Seitz, already with 9 pitches early into the inning, didn't like what he was seeing with him working up the count, getting a free man on base by hitting Inskeep. Wasn't retaliation, but at the same time wasn't something that Virginia Tech necessarily wanted.
Yeah, Connor Yoder comes to the plate. He's been pretty good for the Hokies this season. The Hokies lead 5-0 still in the top of the 8th, and that's the one thing I think John Sheff is worrying about. He doesn't want to give Marshall anything. They've already got a guy on first. You don't want to walk him. You didn't want to walk their next batter and get another guy on, because then that sets you up in a bad situation. So instead of letting Seitz keep pitching, he brings in Connor Yoder, and Yoder hopefully can close out the inning for the Hokies.
Yeah, and Yoder with a little bit more experience than Seitz as well. Seitz, who had just 1 inning and 2/3 pitched this year before this game. Meanwhile, Yoder has 15 and 1/3 innings pitched this year, including 16 strikeouts and 13 walks. So a little bit more experience maybe will help the Hokies remain focused and in control all the way through the end.
Yeah, Tucker Linder comes up, one of the players our guys talked about earlier. He's been pretty solid on the bats this season for the Thundering Herd. He's got a .316 batting average, He's still on his 16-game hit streak, which is now extended to 17 games with his 1 hit earlier. So he comes up. He's going to try to get something going for the Thundering Herd. They need something bad right now.
Yeah, and after extending the hit streak, he has a strikeout and a pop-up, looking to get back in a rhythm here.
First pitch for Connor Yoder is a strike.
And look at the size on Yoder, 6'7", 250. I mean, he could play NFL tight end. He's out there throwing fastballs.
The 2-1 count. He takes over from Seitz. And that's another strike, I believe. Never mind, that is a ball. Check swing from Linder got me confused real quick, but it's a 3-1 count in favor of Linder. Yoder throws another strike, so 5 pitches, 2 strikes, and 3-2 count. Yoder pitches. Linder gets something on it. Can they get the double play? And Linder's safe at first base, but well fielded by shortstop Nick Owens, who tossed it to Jack Owens, the second baseman, to get the force out at second. And there's still a guy on first as Ray Pastrana comes up to bat for Marshall.
Yeah, Hokies unable to get that 6-4-3 double play like they were early in the game, just missing the throw at first, but Hokies still in pretty good position with 1 out and just a man on first, up 5.
Yeah, Yoder, 3 strikes and 6 pitches, and that's a strike right there, right down the middle of the fastball. He's got Ray Pastrana swinging, and Pastrana 3 at-bats so far. He has not gotten a hit today.
And Pastrana, who bats .280 on the season, like you said, does not have a hit this game, will look to get back to his normal ways with a hit here, try to spark a little late run for the Thunder and Herd.
There's a strike called there by the umpire, and the coach wants to come over, and the third base coach wants to come over and have a chat with Ray Pastrana, the current batter for Marshall. The count is 0-2. It looked like a really close pitch to Pastrana, but the umpire called Reed Churchill, the home plate umpire, called a strike, and Marshall didn't look very happy about that call.
Yeah, I guess the ump was thinking it slipped across the side of the plate. Marshall unhappy with the call, but Pastrana got to keep his head focused on this next pitch.
Yeah, there's the third strike for Connor Yoder. He strikes out Ray Pastrana, and apparently they called a check swing on Ray Pastrana, so that was the strike. And so now Connor Yoder comes in. He's got 1 guy to deal with on first base, but he's got 2 outs, 9 pitches, 6 strikes. He's done very well, and I think we can now see why John Sheff brought him in the game.
Yeah, that experience is definitely playing a favor for Yoder as he looks a little bit more comfortable than Seitz did out there, because at 9 pitches, Seitz had 5 balls where Yoder just 3.
Yoder's first pitch against Luke Edwards, the right fielder, is a little too high for a ball. Edwards makes contact on the second pitch, but it goes out on the third baseline foul. A 1-1 count. Hokies lead 5-0. 2 outs this inning. Guy on first base. And if Marshall was going to come back at any time, it'd be a good time to come back right now.
And Luke Edwards, whose cousin Brett Pope is in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization, will look to make his cousin proud with making nice solid contact here, getting on base, and hopefully trying to help the Herd march back in this one.
Connor Yoder on the mound, 2-1 count. A little high, and 3-1 count. This is kind of the same situation Seitz was in earlier. You know, he got the first batter out, but then threw a couple balls, and a 3-1 count, like I said, guy on first base. So you don't really want to walk him here, but you have 2 outs, so I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. That one's fouled.
And Yoder doing as he did before with the 3-1 count at the start of his inning, getting it back to a 3-2 full count and making the batter like feel the urgency to swing at this next pitch.
Yeah, Edwards, he's going to make Edwards work for it right here. The ball, and he walks Edwards. So guy on first base and a guy on second base for Marshall. Not exactly what you want for the Hokies, but I think Sheff it has to be okay with how Yoder's pitching so far. He got 2 outs, and he's thrown 8 strikes, so in 15 pitches. Kyle Schaefer, the left-handed catcher, comes up to bat now. He's got 1 hit today.
Yeah, Schaefer bats .250 on the season, just 1 hit today. Hasn't really found his rhythm yet. Will look to find it here.
There's 1 strike for Connor Yoder. He got Kyle Schaefer swinging, and Schaefer, he gets a base hit, and he's potentially got a run in. He's got Ray Pastrana in a scoring position at second base.
It looks like there's a pitcher warming up in the Virginia Tech bullpen, so maybe a short lease on Connor Yoder if he continues to give up base runners and possibly runs.
Excuse me, Tucker Linder, the first batter this inning on second base. The second pitch for Yoder is a strike. 2-0 count in favor of the 0-2 count, in favor of the Hokies. Yoder, all he needs is 1 more strike, and that's the end of this inning. And Marshall will only have 1 more at-bat to be able to try to come back in this thing.
And you can feel the urgency from the Marshall dugout, desperately wanting a hit here to either advance runners or possibly get them to home plate.
That was an interesting play there. I was waiting to see how it played out. Connor Yoder with the pitch into the dirt. Nick Biddison fielded it and threw it to third base, where Tucker Linder was stealing, and the third baseman, Madden for the Hokies, had to jump over Tucker Linder and couldn't get the tag. And so now Marshall has 2 guys moving to scoring position. Luke Edwards on second base and Tucker Linder on third. And I wonder if the Hokies are going to go to the bullpen again.
Yeah, I think if Yoder gives up a run here, I think Chef's going to be coming in and pulling him out the game. I think Yoder's on a short lease. I know it's a 5-run lead, pretty hefty lead, but you don't want to take any chances. You don't want to let Marshall start feeling themselves or have any momentum whatsoever. As we saw Marshall's urgency manifest itself with both runners stealing a base off the wild pitch.
Yeah, the Marshall bench looks pretty energized down there to our right, as Connor Yoder has the 1-2 count. And there's a foul tip. Still 1-2 count. He has 20 pitches, and 12 of them have been strikes, so not too bad. But he did walk Luke Edwards. So first guy on third, guy on second, 2 outs. If you're Marshall, you got to swing at everything, right?
Yeah, I'm swinging at whatever. If it looks even remotely close to the plate, I'm trying to get my bat, make solid contact on the ball.
And that is solid contact by Kyle Schaefer, but an easy play by Dalton Haram, and that will end the top of the 8th inning. Tough scene for Marshall. They had 2 guys in scoring position. That was solid contact from Kyle Schaefer, but a solid play from Dalton Haram.
If I'm Marshall manager Jeff Wagner, that's absolutely heartbreaking. 2 outs. You had a man on first and second. They were able to steal, get on second and third off a wild pitch, but not able to knock those runners in. It's got to be disappointing for Wagner and the Marshall Thundering Herd.
Yeah, and if you're John Sheff on the other side, you've got to be fairly pleased. Not too pleased, but a little bit pleased, because Connor Yoder came in after Graham Seitz was a little shaky to start the top of the 8th. And we've got a new pitcher in for Marshall, Garrett Priestley, number 40. He's in for the Thundering Herd. He's a freshman from Medina, Ohio, 6 foot 170. His ERA on the season is 2.7. And once again, Marshall going to look to try to keep Tech from getting a guy on base or keep Tech from scoring in general.
Yeah, Marshall desperate for a spark. They're really trying anything right now. They've seemingly been switching pitchers every inning, doing whatever they can to defliberate their team's heart back into action, get it pumping again, and hopefully get back in this ball game. Down 5 runs. It looks insurmountable, but bigger and more miraculous things have happened in the world of sports.
Yeah, Brian Calley, he seemed to do pretty well the last inning or two, but he gets pulled for Garrett Priestley, so Marshall going to see what he can do. Maybe it's just since he's a freshman, maybe it's just testing the waters here, getting him some experience. But obviously, you're still trying to win the game. But 5-0, the Hokies still lead. They led 1-0 after the very first inning, and then Nick Biddison came in with the bases loaded and hit a grand slam, and that's been the story of the game.
Yeah, it's been the story of the game. Biddison put the Hokies back in front after the ill-forgotten bunt from Jack Owens, put them in position to have bases loaded, and Biddison cash in with the grand slam, propelling the Hokies to the 5-0 lead, and they haven't looked back since. And piggybacking off what you were saying about Priestley, he saw some action last time out against Virginia Tech, but gave up 2 runs without, in his only spot of action. And he was pulled immediately.
Yeah, I think Marshall's just going for whatever they can right here. It's either all or nothing, I guess, if you're the Thundering Herd. But the Hokies are still going to try to put their foot down on the gas pedal. I mean, if they can get more runs in, more power to them. Marshall's are only going to have one chance to bat after this. We're not even going to get to the bottom of the ninth, hopefully. But the Hokies up 5-0. Tech hasn't looked fantastically sharp on defense, but now they get a chance on offense. And the guy we talked about so far, Kerry Carpenter, the lefty right fielder, he comes up to bat. He's at 1 hit already today.
Yeah, Carpenter, he's been a stabilizing force for the Hokies all season. And as you mentioned, he's singled to the right side of the field in the bottom of the first, looking for a similar result here.
First pitch is a ball from Garrett Priestley, his first pitch. Kerry Carpenter making solid contact, but he flies up and pops up to the center fielder for Marshall, Eric Rodriguez, who's first in the batting order for the Thundering Herd. And Garrett Priestley, 1 up, 1 down, got 2 more to go. And that's solid. And Marshall manager coming over to talk to him at the pitching mound.
Yeah, and after a quick out, I don't know what Jeff Waggoner's saying. Maybe just seeing how the freshman's feeling out there. I mean, down 5 near the end of the game. A lot of pressure on him to retire the side quickly and give Marshall a chance to get back into their groove. And they were in a little groove the last inning with a man on second and third with 2 outs. But they were as they were unable to drive in those runs, though.
And it looks like it's going to be another pitching change, if I'm not mistaken. Garrett Priestley comes in and gets 1 out, but manager doesn't like it, and that's an interesting play. I don't know why you do that.
My only logic behind it is that maybe he's just trying to test out some of the younger guys in the bullpen, see where they're at, give them a little bit of reps. But just 1 series there for Priestley, quite shocking. I haven't seen a pitcher pull that quickly without giving up a run in a while.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. But Michael Guerrero, number 11 for the Thundering Herd, the right-handed sophomore from Lawrence, Massachusetts. He's got a 1.2 ERA on the season, and he's throwing from behind the mound, warming up. But 5-0 lead for the Hokies, still 1 out. That change confuses me. Priestley came in through 2 pitches and got an out. But I don't know what the Marshall manager is saying.
Well, the only thing I can see is right here, Michael Guerrero. He's looking like a little bit more solid pitcher on paper. 1.2 ERA this season, a 1-1 win-loss record with 21 strikeouts. He's only given up a hit in 5 of his 11 plate appearances. Only 2 times has he allowed a run, and leads the team in saves with 4. So Waggoner's got to be thinking about getting retiring the side quickly here, getting back on offense, and hopefully going on a late run to knock this ball game up and send it to extra innings.
Yeah, let's see what we can do. 8:37 here. The Hokies lead 5-0. Kevin Madden, the right-handed third baseman, he's up to bat whenever Michael Guerrero stops warming up. Like we were talking about, it happened all the action happened in the first and second inning, and
It's been a dead heap since the second inning. Neither team has scored. The pitching has been pretty good for each team. There's been a few threats, but both teams able to douse those fires with water before anything detrimental happened. But those 5 early runs in the first 2 innings have been the difference for Virginia Tech.
yeah, it's been interesting. We haven't had a score since the second inning and have had very few hits. 5 for the Herd, 7 for the Hokies. But here we go. Kevin Madden up to bat against Michael Guerrero, the pitcher who just came in to replace Garrett Priestley, who got 1 out. And first pitch he throws is a strike to the bottom corner.
Looking good fresh out the bullpen. Let's see if he can keep it up.
Guerrero getting the signal from his catcher. Starting the windup, throws, and Madden makes contact, makes a foul, but nothing going there, and it's going to be a 0-2 count, excuse me. So Guerrero coming in right off the bench. Hopefully he can get 1 out, and then it'll be 2 outs for the Thundering Herd.
We were questioning the decision, but maybe Wagner knows something that we don't, obviously, with Guerrero coming in already with 2 straight strikes. Looks very comfortable in this situation. As we mentioned earlier, he leads the team with 4 saves this season, so definitely comfortable in the late game moments.
Madden there getting the ball, hitting a shot down the first baseline, but ball goes foul out of bounds. That almost stayed in. Madden wanted to run, but no point in running there. He's coming back to bat. 0-2 count in favor of Guerrero. There's the pitch, and it's in the dirt. Nice save from catcher Kyle Schaefer, and it's a 1-2 count now.
Yeah, Guerrero locked in early, 4 pitches, 3 strikes. Already had an early advantage with a 1-2 count. If you're Wagner, you got to be loving the change you made. He's looking pretty good right now.
Pitch from Guerrero, another ball, and it's loose in the dirt. Kevin Madden, can he get there? And he is safe at first base. Madden didn't even look like he went to run at first, and once he realized that the ball was rolling all the way to the backstop, he decided to take off, and he barely made it to the bag, was safe, got there about the same time the ball got there, and he's getting in a little argument with the first baseman, Ray Pastrana, and everybody's just looking around right now, but
I think Pastrana's frustration may be seeping in a little bit with that argument. And just as I was extolling praises on Michael Guerrero, throws the wild pitch and allows Kevin Madden to get the first base off the wild pitch. So Wagner, after loving what you were seeing in the first little bit out there, you got to be disappointed with what just transpired.
yeah, Michael Guerrero, 5 pitches so far. He just came in and he started the count 0-2, but a ball and then what I believe might have been a strike, but couldn't be saved by Kyle Schaefer and rolled all the way to the back of the backstop, and Kevin Madden just sprinted to first base and he got there in time.
Yep, Kevin Madden taking advantage of the Marshall mistake, getting on base as Virginia Tech with 1 out and a man on first, trying to put a little bit more pressure on the Marshall Thunder Herd and put this game out of reach.
Dalton Harum comes up to bat and nails one into the gap. Kevin Madden comes around to third base, so Dalton Harum in at first. A nice, solid base hit for the Hokies, and they've got a guy in scoring position, Kevin Madden on third base. And I don't know how Wagner's feeling about that change now, because now you just put somebody in scoring position.
Yeah, for Wagner, just He put Guerrero out there, looked great first couple pitches, but since then has allowed a runner on third and first. To be fair, though, Luke Edwards bobbing the ball in right field allowed the runner to get the third. So tough breaks for Marshall right now. But although it seems insurmountable, they're still in this game. They got to stay focused, get these outs, and get back on offense and try to make a run.
Tanner Thomas, the left-handed batter, the left fielder, he's up to bat now for the Hokies, and he's, like I said, he's got a guy on first and a guy on third. Garrow throws a strike as the first pitch. He's got one out so far this inning, and the Hokies still lead 5-0 in the bottom of the eighth. It's been a decently long bottom of the inning.
It has been a long inning. Feels like it's been about 20, 30 minutes. Tanner Thomas been good all game, and he bunts foul.
Yeah, Thomas goes to bunts down the third baseline, and it just rolls out of bounds. Rolls foul, and now he's at 0-2 count, but only one out. So I think if you're Thomas, you're doing what your coach tells you to do, and if he's telling you to sacrifice so you could potentially get Kevin Madden in from third, that's what you got to do.
And Virginia Tech, with just one out, they're looking to put more points on the board and really run away with this ball game.
0-2 count. Garrow gets a signal from his catcher. Wind up throw. And a little high there. 1-2 count. He's thrown 10 pitches and he's thrown 7 strikes, but 2 guys got on base. So
yeah, those balls have been pivotal.
1-2 count still. 2 guys on base. Madden on third, Haram on first. Garrow with the wind-up throws. Contact made from Tanner Thomas. It fouls out of the park behind the Hokies bench and out of the stadium, I believe. And it's still a 1-2 count. Tanner Thomas doing everything he can to stay at the plate.
Yeah, Thomas facing the 0-2 count, 1-2 count, fighting to stay alive at this at bat and try to extend the Hokies' lead as they are not finished with the herd yet.
The pitch, and it's another ball, and it's a 2-2 count now for the Marshall Thundering Herd. And man, Wagner, Garrow looked very good at the beginning, and he's thrown 12 pitches, 8 of them have been strikes, but that's another ball, and I feel like he's kind of letting Tanner get back in this thing now.
Yeah, he's letting Tanner get back in the count after facing an 0-2 count. 2 balls, make it a 2-2 count.
There's a third ball, and Dalton Haram steals second base. So now 2 guys in scoring position for the Hokies, and Wagner might be rethinking that option of subbing pitchers in and putting Garrow on the mound instead of Priestley. Priestley came in through 2 pitches and got a pop-up, but
yeah, Priestley responsible for the only out for Marshall in this inning. Marshall in the same position Virginia Tech was at the top of the inning, so we'll see if they can have a different result.
3-2 count, full count. Thomas makes contact, but it goes foul down the third base line. Kevin Madden was ready to run home, and Dalton Haram was already to second base. But like I said, Tanner Thomas, he's still in there, still at the plate with a 3-2 count, and Garrow just can't seem to shake him.
Can't. 7th pitch of the exchange here. Thomas doing a great job of working up the count after facing an 0-2 hole.
Wind up throw, and it's a little high. Another ball, and the bases are loaded once again for the first time since the second inning for the Hokies. Bases loaded, 1 out. Nick Owens up to bat, and he scored a run earlier. He's got 1 hit in the game. This is not what you wanted if you're Marshall and you're Wagner.
No, this is not what you want if you're Wagner and Marshall, but the one positive note for the Thundering Herd, as it's not the Nick that they don't want to see up there. It's Nick Owens instead of Nick Biddison, as Biddison launched the grand slam in the second inning. So the Herd probably thinking they're lucky stars that it's Owens instead of Biddison, but you still can't give him a nice pitch down the middle or it could be trouble.
Nick Owens, 30 hits on the season, no home runs. So maybe this is the guy you want, but I feel like a base hit would put at least one or two guys in for the Hokies.
Yeah, if Owen shoots that gap, he has a chance to bring in possibly 2 runners.
Owens hits it into the gap, and the ball gets down. Owens gets to first. 2 runs come in to score for the Hokies, and they now have a 7-0 lead. What a play from Nick Owens. I mean, that's exactly what you wanted if you're John Sheff, and that's exactly what you got.
It's not a grand slam, but 2-run scoring damage is still done as Virginia Tech adds on to their lead, with making it 7-0, bottom of the 8th, and the Hokies are just pouring it on, David. They're wanting to ensure this win after dropping 2 of 3 in their last series against Wake Forest. They want to make sure to take care of business here at Blacksburg tonight.
Yeah, Hokies have 2 guys on right now. Thomas at second base, Nick Owens at first, and there's a pinch hitter in Michael Fernandez in for the Hokies to pinch it. The 5'10" sophomore from Miami, Florida. He's got a batting average of .167. He comes in. There's only 1 out still, and he's got a guy in scoring position potentially at second base. 16 pitches to 10 strikes for Michael Guerrero, but 2 runs allowed.
And speaking of Fernandez, he was the 9A15 Player of the Year on the 5th-ranked team in the nation at his Christopher Columbus High School in Miami, Florida, making back-to-back state championship game appearances and winning the first one.
Yeah, Fernandez, talented sophomore for the Hokies. He's facing Guerrero, 17 pitches, 11 strikes, but Guerrero getting contact, and what a play made. And that will end the inning. What a diving play made by Ray Pastrana for the Thundering Herd. A diving play into the gap to catch the ball from Michael Fernandez, and then the throw to the shortstop, Peralta, and that ends the inning. I mean, that was a fantastic play, and if you're Marshall, that's exactly what you needed, but giving up those 2 runs was not what you wanted.
Yeah, it was a fantastic play to end a bad inning for Marshall. Obviously, you didn't want to give up any more runs as you were already facing a 5-point deficit. Giving up 2 there really hurts, but Peralta able to weather the storm, so to speak, if you want to call it that, lessen the damage a little bit, just giving up 2, because it could have been worse with running with 2 more runners already on base and 1 in scoring position.
Yeah, that was a long inning. We'll be right back after just a quick break. You're listening to Com 3304 Sports. I'm David Cunningham, joined by Dylan Campbell. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back here for Com 3304 Sports. The Hokies leading 7-0 in the top of the 9th inning. Marshall with 1 chance this inning to get back in the game. They've got to score 7 runs. I don't know if they can do that, but Jaron Lovely up to bat, the pinch hitter. He came in .262 ERA or batting average, for the season, and Nolan Wilson, the right-handed pitcher. The Hokies make another change. Wilson, number 10 for the Hokies, a redshirt freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, 4.32 ERA. His first pitch he throws is a ball, but the second one is a strike.
This seems like just the Virginia Tech trying to get their young guns a little wear and tear, so to speak, letting them get a little action with a 7-point lead. With a 7-run lead here in the 9th inning, in the top of the 9th.
Yeah, if you missed it, the Hokies scored 2 runs last inning as Jaron Lovely looks to bunt. The Hokies scored 4 runs in the 2nd inning to make it a 5-0 game. No runs were scored in the 3rd through 7th inning, and then a couple pitching changes for Marshall last inning, and the Hokies got 2 runs in.
Yeah, strike 3 there for Lovely as he goes to the bench with his head down. But Lovely, he knows how it is to be a pitcher as he pitched 3 innings against Louisiana Tech last year, allowing just 2 hits with a 3.00 ERA but unable to get on base there as Marshall gets their first out of the inning.
Yeah, 1 out between the two sides in the top of the ninth. 2 more outs would do it, and that is five pitches, 4 strikes for Nolan Wilson. He started off the top of the inning very well for the Hokies.
Yeah, he has, in the Kentucky Male Athlete of the Year here at Johnson Central High School. Looking to give Marshall a little sliver of a chance, down 7 here. The 2-time state wrestling champion looked to make a power move here.
Jordan Blanton pops that one up, and that should be an easy out, and it is for the center fielder, Dalton Haram, who happened to score one of the runs last inning. But the Hokies now have 2 outs in the top of the ninth. Eric Rodriguez, top of the batting order, comes up. He's got 1 chance to get on base. If not, this game is over. And 2 up, 2 down for Nolan Wilson. 7 pitches, 5 strikes. He's done well so far. First pitch is a strike. Rodriguez swings.
If you're Marshall, this is exactly who you want to be at the plate for you, with the highest batting average on your team, with a 3.36 batting average. This is who you want with the money on the line.
Second pitch is a ball, so we've got a 1-1 count. 9 pitches, 6 strikes for Nolan Wilson. He came in, and he's done very well so far.
Yeah, I know he's up 7, but the freshman unfazed in this moment, not giving Marshall even a speck of life here at the end of the contest.
Check swing for Rodriguez. That is called a ball. 2-1 count. Wilson with the wind up the pitch. Rodriguez with contact, and he'll go out of play down the first base line. Foul ball. And a 2-2 count. 1 more strike. And the Hokies have the 7-0 win.
Yeah, Rodriguez is going to be swinging for his life here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Really has to swing at anything. Hoping to keep Marshall alive.
Rodriguez gets contact again and hits it into the Hokies bullpen down the first base line. Still a 2-2 count, and that's the 8th strike in 12 pitches thrown for Nolan Wilson. Hokies have performed very well defensively in the top of the ninth. One more strike will do it for the Hokies, and Wilson, as he winds up, throws right down the middle. Contact made, and it flies back into the netting for Eric Rodriguez. That's 3 foul tips in a row. 1 more again for Nolan Wilson would end the game. Hokies up 7-0 after 2 more runs were scored last inning.
Rodriguez pushing the pitch count to 6, really working and fighting to stay in this game.
Right down the middle, Rodriguez gets contact, hits it to left field, and he gets a base hit into first, and that will bring up Elvis Peralta, the shortstop, the lefty.
Perfect placement on that hit from Rodriguez, hitting it just over Kevin Madden's outstretched arms. He was leaping in the air. It looked like he may have had a chance at it at first, but that ball just kept sailing and dropped right in between him and left fielder Tanner Thomas.
10 strikes thrown, and that was a ball thrown, and Rodriguez escapes from first to second as Nolan Wilson throws it bad. I wouldn't call it a wild pitch, but a bad pitch. That is a foul, goes to the backstop, and Biddison collects it as Rodriguez scampers to second base. Elvis Peralta up to bat, 1-0 count, and Nick Biddison will go and talk to Nolan Wilson on the mound.
Yeah, Biddison probably just telling his pitcher, listen, you only need 1 more out. You got a man on second, but don't worry about him. Worry about this batter in front of you. Try to retire him and go ahead and start shaking hands to end the game.
15 pitches for Nolan Wilson, 10 strikes as he winds up for the second pitch of this at-bat. Peralta makes contact, sends it into the Hokies dugout, and it's a 1-1 count, 2 pitches in for Peralta and Wilson. And if you're Marshall, you need something. I mean, you're just kind of digging for anything, swinging for the fences right now.
Yeah, you're in desperation mode. You're doing whatever you can to get people on base and get runners in scoring position. They got a man on second. Let's see what they can do.
Wilson throws a strike right down the middle, and Peralta swings. 1-2 count, one more out would do it, just like last time. 7-0 lead for the Hokies in the top of the ninth, and Eric Rodriguez, is on second base for the Thundering Herd. One more out for the Hokies would end the inning. That's a high ball, and it's a 2-2 count now for Nolan Wilson. A little high. Peralta does not swing. Same thing as last time. One more out will end the inning and the game. Peralta hits it to the second baseman, who throws it to number 16, Carson Taylor, at first base to get the force out. And this game is over. Hokies win 7-0. After the top of the first inning, the Hokies score 4 runs in the second inning and 2 in the 8th to knock off the Marshall Thundering Herd. Dylan, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think Virginia Tech definitely picked up on its momentum from last game and kind of righted the wrong from that game, even though they won. A game where they led 8-0 mostly throughout the contest against Wake Forest, leading up 10-4 in the 8th inning, but nearly surrendering that game, winning just 10-9. But tonight, getting a 5-0 lead early and suffocating the Herd throughout, not letting them get us any chance at gathering momentum, getting life, and getting back in the game. Hokies run out to a 7-0 win, and really showing what they could do against a good opponent.
Well, we're not done here for 3304 Sports. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back with your post game. Hang around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to 3304 Sports, our post game here after the Virginia Tech Hokies defeat Marshall 7-0 in the top of the 9th inning. The Hokies completely outplayed Marshall today. 4 runs in the second inning and 2 runs in the 8th inning did it. Nick Biddison with the grand slam home run in the second inning to knock in 3 other runs. The Hokies did it today against Marshall, coming off of that, barely escaping that win against Wake Forest this past weekend. But the Hokies get that 7-0 win. The winning pitcher is Ryan Metz. That's his first win of the season. He threw 21 strikes in 34 pitches, and the Hokies ended with 9 hits. That's pretty good for Tech. Just 6 hits for Marshall, but Marshall couldn't seem to get anything going today, Dylan.
No, Marshall, didn't really have that much offensive output from the start. Although they had 6 hits compared to Virginia Tech's 9, they just couldn't get into that same groove as Virginia Tech was at home.
Yeah, Marshall, they got a guy on first and a guy on third at one point, but the Hokies got him out of that inning, and Marshall couldn't seem to get any more momentum after that. But what comes up next for the Hokies and for the Thundering Herd, Dylan?
So with the win, the Hokies secure their 500th win in program history, moving to 19-14 on the season, moving to 10-8 at home.
Yeah, that Paul. I want to talk about that for a second. That's a history in the making win for the Hokies here at English Field. It's a 500th win at English Field in history. So pretty good history there for the Virginia Tech Hokies. But what's up next for them?
And that happens at a most opportune time for the Hokies, as they are able to get that 500th win in front of their home faithful, as their next 5 games will all be on the road, starting with Eastern Tennessee State on April 10th, Wednesday at 6 p.m., followed by a 3-game series at Duke starting Friday, April 12th through Sunday, April 14th. Those games start at 6 p.m., 1 p.m., and 1 p.m. respectively, before finally going to High Point, North Carolina, to take on High Point University on April 16th, 6 p.m. That is a Tuesday.
As for Marshall, the Thundering Herd, what's up for them now? That's their 14th loss on the season.
And to juxtapose that, Marshall drops to 18-14 on the season, dropping even 5-5 on the road. Next up for Marshall is is 4 straight home games, a home series versus Western Kentucky from April 12th through April 14th. Those games start at 3 p.m., 2 p.m., and 1 p.m. respectively in Huntington, West Virginia, and then finally wrapping up their home stint against Ohio, also on April 16th, Tuesday at 3 p.m., before heading back on the road for a series against Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, to wrap up our coverage here, the Hokies get the win, the 500th win here at English Field. They win 7-0 over the Marshall Thundering Herd. My player of the game is Nick Biddison. He had 4 RBIs, and all from that grand slam, 1 hit. But the Hokies were very, very good tonight. Marshall just couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
For Dylan Campbell, I'm David Cunningham signing off for 3304 Sports. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back with more Virginia Tech Hokie sports coverage sometime soon.